welcome back to the channel. What is going on? I'm Dan, and we are live tonight for Chelsea versus Gent in what is a return to European football for Chelsea, just not as we'd all hoped. How are we doing, everyone? Welcome in. I hope everyone is doing okay on this fine Thursday evening. I am excited, apprehensive about how European football looks for this new Chelsea generation of players. But I've been doing my research and I've been on a couple of shows. I'm starting to convince myself that we absolutely have to do something in this competition because our squad alone is worth the combined total of all the other teams in the Conference League. And if that doesn't make you favourites, then I don't know what does. But obviously, there will be hurdles to navigate. The last time we were here for a European qualifying game against Servette, we lost on this channel doing a watch along. So, yeah, I don't think it's a. The last time I was at the bridge for a European night, we were playing Real Madrid. We are not playing Real Madrid. I can tell you that much. I can tell you that much. Yeah, it's a hard one to accept, isn't it? When you've had the level of European competition we've had at Stamford Bridge. Yeah, that's a tough one to take, I must admit. Yeah, so lineup's out. Lineup is as expected. I will got it somewhere. I do have the lineup somewhere. It's pretty much what we expected, actually. Pretty much what we expected. Pretty much looking like the double 11 that we've spoken about with Maresca. It's looking like he's going to be running 2 11s. So, what are your thoughts? Are you happy with that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether or not that's the right way to go about things, but I know it keeps everyone happy to an extent. But it won't be long. If players keep performing, they are going to want to be knocking on Maresca's door saying, look, I don't want to be part of this B team. I want to be in the first 11. So, yeah, going to be a confusing one. Tottenham's just finished as well. They're playing Ferencváros, something like that. They have won 2-1. Actually, quite an exciting finish to what was a pretty naff game. Quite incredible. They didn't give them a huge test, but to only win 2-1 is a bit of a shock for me. And that's what can happen in these European nights. It's just sometimes you just don't know what the other team are going to bring. Dan, let's see what you said. Dan, I think we will be too strong for Ghent. So do I, have to be honest. It's European football, but it isn't a European night. If you know, that's what Gerald is saying. I have to agree. Felix and Kunku and Neto and Mudryk score tonight. Going for a big scoreline there, are we? So gutted this is not played in Belgium. Otherwise, I'd be there. I think Belgium's obviously a really nice country, but I wish the worst against the Belgium team this evening. Hopefully, Chelsea have no mercy on Ghent this evening. I would like to see a very convincing game after what we saw in our last European performance for this group of players. I think that's fair to say. I want Chelsea to be ruthless this evening, and I want them to send a message to every other team in the Conference League. How do we feel about that? If you haven't already, make sure to smash a like on the video. I would like to get 30 likes on this stream today. I think that would be a great target to hit. Chelsea back in European football. What's not to like about it? Apart from it's not the Champions League. Let me know your thoughts on the squad as well in the comments. I want to know your guys' thoughts on this double 11 that Maresca seems to be putting to work for this Chelsea side. Up the Chelsea's Dale. Dan says, how many points do you need? Look, I've been humming and ahhing about this one. I'm not entirely sure. Carney, look, I think Carney isn't injured. I haven't heard anything. Could be on his way out, which is incredibly sad to see for such a talented player who has been limited so much by injuries. And when fit, it just seems so ridiculous to not use him. baffling, baffling for me. I actually wanted to have a look at that and just double check the squad for the subs bench, because although it was a passing glance, I can't say I've looked at the subs bench in too much detail. Just trying to get that one up. What are we? We are 15 minutes to kick off. 15 minutes. 8 o'clock kick off this evening. I believe. I hope so. Could not be, actually. If it's 7:45, we're about to be live. No. Dan, what's your score prediction? Honestly, I want minimum 3 goals for Chelsea this evening. Minimum 3. That is what I would like to see. Yeah. Be interesting. Be interesting to see how ruthless this. Oh, look, wouldn't you take another hat trick? How ruthless this second string Chelsea 11 is, because there's a lot of quality in this side still. My biggest focus tonight is going to be on the midfield and see what it's about, because I'm not sure that Cassidy and Dewsbury Hall are going to be enough going forward as this partnership in the midfield in this competition. I expect to sort of see some tweaks. I'm not sure what level it's at, to be honest, that midfield, after what I saw against Barrow, to be honest. Let's have a look. Substitutes are Sanchez, Colwell, Cucurella, Casado, Dyer, George, Madueke, and Gui. Right, now I know what we're saying about Carney. I hope he's not injured, man. I really do hope he's not injured. If he's injured, then you have to start to wonder if that's the reason Chelsea are looking to move him on, because there is an issue there. There is an issue. If there isn't, I'm absolutely baffled, because I believe he's better than Tyreek, George, Dyer. Probably could be on the bench instead of Madueke in a game like this. Save Madueke's legs and have to do a cool down and everything. Colwell, Cucurella, Casado. Oh, look, I don't know. It's that's a confusing one, and one I think is harsh. I really, unless he's not in this squad, but I actually thought he was. What position is Keanu Dyer really, if we're being honest? Midfielder, isn't he? Probably. I'm not sure. So, that's a tough one to accept, I think, guys. I really like Carney Chukwuemeka, and I feel like if he's not injured, is being really harshly treated. And for someone at that age, that's really difficult. If you're older and you've got a bit about you and you've got life experiences, I think that's fine. But if he's being pushed out, like we've seen Gallagher happen to, Trevor, Sterling a little bit, he's too young to do that, I think. I think it will. I think the squad will change. I think we'll see the likes of Palmer probably introduced to this. If it looks like we're going to push on in this competition, actually make a real good go of it. For me, semi-final is my minimum expectation. I'm not changing it yet. I know I said that before a ball's kicked. Everyone I speak to says we have to win it. And to be honest with you, I want to win this. I do want to win this. I think, as much as I've said semi-final is my minimum expectation. By the way, I'm saying that because anything below semi-final in this competition, I think it's a failure. I genuinely think you have to judge the manager on this competition if he fails, because if he can't do well in this competition, it would give me question marks going forwards, especially with some of the players as well. It's not all on the manager. I would be expecting in this competition to definitely be there or thereabouts come the end of it. Yeah, was on a live a little bit earlier, and we were looking at some of the grounds that could potentially come up for some teams in this competition. They are a joke. Honestly, they're non-league level, if not worse. No, fair to say, UK non-league level have some better stadiums. They definitely do. Teams are so bad. We must win this Conference League. Yeah, oh, it could be Gerald. Uh, he could well be. Um, Teams are so bad now. We must win the Conference League. Yeah, we probably should, shouldn't we? We probably should. We probably should. Maybe I'm being a little bit too lenient, suggesting that that sort of semi-final is a little bit underwhelming, isn't it? But at the same time, nothing is written. Getting to a final of a European competition or any competition, no matter what it is, can be incredibly difficult. Aston Villa have just beaten Bayern Munich, but couldn't beat Olympiacos last season to get to the final of this competition. So nothing's written. Circumstances can change. So I want to be in the final four, and I'll stick with that. But yeah, I agree. We have an incredibly good chance, and if the bookies have us as favourites, I wouldn't be surprised, especially with the way we have started the season. I'll reiterate that because we have started the season probably on a level slightly better than I expected. If I'm being completely honest with you guys, I probably didn't expect us to start in the manner that we have, being the top goal scorers in the Prem. I've been really impressed. Really, really impressed. Right, I'm just getting the stream up now as we speak. Okay, there we go. There's a couple of big games, isn't there, around Europe as well? I was just having a look. We are just getting the TikTok stream set up as we speak as well. Obviously, a huge game for that one. You in the UEFA Europa League, we obviously see Porto taking on Manchester United, and could that be Ten Hag's last game? That's an interesting one to keep an eye on, guys. I would say in the background, that is for sure. Um, Maresca's just speaking now ahead of the game. Guys, what are our thoughts on Maresca going into this? His first proper game in a European competition for Chelsea. I want to know your thoughts because I've watched pretty much every press conference. I've watched a lot of his interviews. I do like the guy in the way that he handles his media sort of situations and the way that he speaks, and he's quite honest. And sometimes I'm not sure I agree with the decisions, but at the same time, I like that he's honest and doesn't mind ducking and diving questions. He normally addresses them. I do like that in a manager, and I ultimately think that he's proven that he learns pretty quickly as well. So uh, media sort of approach is refreshing. The way he's had sort of addressed any mishaps that have probably happened in the Chelsea for Chelsea in the time that he's been here as well hasn't been too bad. I'm talking about games that we haven't necessarily played that well. He's pretty much rectified the issue straight away in the next game. It's not like we've been dragging an issue all the way through the season that I can see as of yet. That we did kind of see a little bit under pot straight away. We started to see some issues that weren't disappearing. So yeah. Fury and Tina are playing the new Saints from Wales. Unbelievable. I'm just getting the other game up there. Right. Dan, I think we'll see Lavia and Casado and Enzo Fernandez if we go. Yeah, maybe. I think the issue is that we will see those players if we get a little bit deeper, potentially. If the players that are in this so-called second 11 now don't start performing at a level that we want from a team that are Chelsea, to be honest with you. That's how I dress it up, to be honest. But right now, I want to see what these players have got. Dewsbury Hall cost a lot of money. Cassaday cost quite a bit of money as well. I want to see what these players have got. I want to see what they offer in terms of quality, and if they're going to be good enough to play for Chelsea. If they can't perform in the Conference League, then I think the answer is no, isn't it? To be quite honest with you. So we'll see how that one goes. Cassidy talked fairly. I felt I felt a little bit like Maresca did stick Cassidy in at the deep end for his media press conference. I felt a little bit sorry for the kid. He looked a bit nervous. But what I will say is by the end of the press conference, I thought he was handling it really well. I actually thought he was. Guys on TikTok, appreciate you all coming in as well. Appreciate you guys joining in. John, appreciate that, mate. Coming in from the other videos on the channel. We are ready to go here pretty much at Stamford Bridge. We're just passing the flag along the bottom of the Matthew Arden. Stamford Bridge not looking full at the moment, to be honest with you, but I've got a couple of mates that are there telling me that it's a completely different crowd to the weekend. So probably some people experiencing Stamford Bridge for the first time, a couple of tourists in town. So that'll be interesting to see what the atmosphere was like, because I have to say, probably much improved against Brighton. Probably much improved. Hopefully, we get a off to a good winning start tonight in the Conference League. Yeah, I definitely have to agree with that. That would be my ultimate sort of beginning to this, is to make a statement to everyone in the Conference League, basically suggesting that, yeah, you were right to put us as favourites. We are easily good enough to push on and make something happen in this competition. That's what I would say. Uh, yeah, definitely, definitely a moment to announce yourselves in a competition you haven't won yet. Obviously, you haven't been in it. You got to be in it to win it. Chelsea have won everything in Europe bar this competition. So yeah, look, let's go and make something happen. Definitely agree. Definitely agree with that. Hopefully, make Stamford Bridge I want to make Stamford Bridge a fortress in general. I have to be honest. I want to make Stamford Bridge a fortress in general. Ida Johnson's son is, I think, playing tonight. I'm not sure if he's in the starting 11, but that's a nice one, isn't it? We spoke about that in the preview, that would actually be like a great moment. Actually, I actually think we saw, or I was at the game when Ida Johnson's son was on the pitch at a very, very young age. I'm just not sure if it was that son, because I know there's two. Uh, we're looking at the Gent starting lineup as well. Um, not, I'll be honest, not too many names I recognise there. Gent are currently third. They're currently third um, in the Belgian league. They are nicknamed the Buffaloes, and their badge is obviously a Native American chief, actually. So yeah, there's a bit of a backstory to that one. If any of you guys want to have a look up at, I was having a look. Just looking at the Ghent team now, it's not a bad side from what I've seen that they actually put out in the majority of their games. It looks like they've got most of their best players available, although I don't know much about them. So we're going to see, aren't we? We're going to see. Do you know what? Servette threw their team up. It was a team that they played in another competition. and I didn't know anyone, and they gave us a really good game. That is the beauty of a European evening against some of the European. I don't want to say minnows. I feel like that is a little bit harsh against Gent. They're definitely one of the better teams in their country. But yeah, at the same time, it's one of obscurity for most of us Chelsea fans and Premier League fans for sure. I expect to dominate the ball. They're playing in a horrific kit, I might add. That there's a couple of English players in their setup as well. That is a horrific kit. I've got to be honest. And uh, Dewsbury Hall's socks are a bit. He's obviously rocking the greenish look as well. So I feel like if you're pulling your socks down that low, you need to be doing something a little bit special. To be honest with you, otherwise just wear them normally. It's the same if you go a bit too high, isn't it? If you pull your socks up a bit too high, you're expected to do something unreal as well. So yeah, I always look at that. Mudryk looks ready to go. Mudryk's a weird one. I always say this. I look at him. I think he looks sharp. I think he looks ready to go. And I never. Yeah, Good Johnson is starting. By the way, I love you. Got to love that. Andre Good Johnson, mate. Ito. Do I know him? Maybe he was from a different team in the past, or he's played at the World Cup. Maybe potentially. Max D as well is obviously Max Dean is on the bench for them as well, a former MK Dons player. Yeah, you'd expect Chelsea to dominate the ball in this, though. You would, wouldn't you? Dewsbury Hall, Mark on you, Cassidy, or Cesare is what they've been referring to his first name. I would have said it was like a Cesar or something like that. But yeah, I am definitely keeping an eye on this midfield tonight. And Kunku, I'm sure, will be one of the players here that is setting the standard for the level of performance we should be seeing this evening. I hope. I hope that is. If you are in England, the game is live on TNT. Ida Johnson is there. My man. Come on. Ida, one of my favourite Chelsea players ever. And I'm sure many people in a similar age range to me would be a massive, like Ida Johnson would be a hero of yours because there was a period of time where he was one of the smoothest operators in that Chelsea team, that's for sure. He went on to have another good spell at Barcelona after us. And then I think actually, much it pains me to say, ended up playing for Spurs, Fulham, which is not ideal, is it, if you've played for Chelsea? But we're just starting. I will get the clock underway. We might have to speed that up a little bit for about 9 seconds. But yeah, underway. Jao Felix looking to get us off to a quick start. Dewsbury Hall here, striding through the midfield. We'll try and pick up on the tactics as we go. Obviously, look and see if anyone's inverting. It looks straight away off the bat it's going to be a back three, isn't it? It's exactly what we said in the preview. Me and Ben, we thought that Vega would be inverting straight away off the bat, and it looks as if he is. It looks like it's going to be Dewsbury Hall out towards the right hand side of the midfield. Cassidy in the middle, and Vega's going to invert off the left by the looks of things. That's how it's looking early doors. Mudryk out on the left, Neto out on the right, and a back three looking like Dazassi, Badashile with Tosin in the middle. They are a bunch of units, that defensive line. That is one of the most physically imposing Chelsea back fours I have seen in a long time, even though in possession, it definitely doesn't look like it's going to be a back four. That's for sure. We're seeing a sort of biasness, I would say, out towards the right-hand side of where we're going to see a bit of more of the pivot in Cassidy and Dewsbury Hall. Vega obviously is going to hold that sort of false inverted role on the left-hand side of the midfield. So yeah, let's see how this one pans out. I don't know much about the Gent players. I don't know what sort of threat they're going to offer us. Cassidy picks up the ball there just in front of the halfway line. Dewsbury Hall, ball intercepted straight away. Do you know what? It looked as if um, we could have been in there if Dewsbury Hall got that pass completed. And Cassidy, 2 minutes in, breaks up the play. And there we go. Now, Champions League nights would Europa League nights and Conference League nights, they're not on Sky anymore. They haven't been on Sky for a long, long time. Guys, remember the game's just started. If you haven't already, make sure to smash a like on the video. We are on the way to 3,000 subscribers on the channel. Absolutely unbelievable numbers. I think we're about 120 away now, which is just crazy because I can't believe we'd ever get to a number like that. They're in here. Ardigan Johnson. Oh my god, I've called him Ardigan Johnson. Now, good Johnson's son, probably offside there, but looking to make a quick move in behind. He's got slightly longer hair than I remember his dad ever having. But yeah, look, they've gone over the top there, looking to get in behind Chelsea's high line or rigid line on the edge of our box. Badashile here in possession, looking to build up through from defence to attack. It's gone out to Dazassi now. The way they're set up, again, is looking like a traditional 4-4-2, maybe a 5. The camera's not quite panned out here, but there's an incredibly high line of Gent players making the area between Cassidy and any of the other midfielders incredibly tight. Straight away, you can see it. There's 5 players circling Cassidy. They're basically stopping him receiving the ball at all. I would expect someone to get added into that mix if that's going to be the case, to be honest with you, because yeah, he's going to find that incredibly tough. That's rare. You don't see that too often. There's 5 players around him in that moment in time. So I would expect to see Dewsbury Hall or Vega come in quite narrow there to just try and give him a little bit of support as a youngster in that midfield, and also as a bit of help to potentially getting us out of a tricky press. It's a mid block, that's for sure, off the bat. They're definitely not sitting too low. They're incredibly compact, and I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's actually 2 units of 5 working together by the looks of it. It looks like it's 2 units of 5. It's hard to tell. They're not quite pan the camera out enough 4 minutes into the game, but we'll keep looking at it and we'll see how that develops. But yeah, Cassidy in that situation when our centre backs have got the ball is under an incredible amount of pressure. So we will see how press resistant he is. But love that, Bobby. I tried my best. I know not a night before, but I did try my best. I would say, pleasure to have you in here, my man, supporting the channel as always. I would say where we're seeing Gent have a lot of players surrounding Cassidy there comes from looking at the isolation we've seen our central midfielder have in recent games last season and this season at times. The difference being is that Casado is incredibly. This is moments like this is when you will realise just how press resistant Moises Casado is. He is, and even Alavia. And I have to give him credit, even at times, Enzo Fernandez in the last game as well was exceptionally good when under pressure in certain moments, which is a positive. Keep building on that, Enzo. All the centre-backs again, a lot of players trying to make that. They're giving the ball away there. Yeah, there's really not much room between Gent's lines here. If you're watching the game, I'm hoping I'm kind of guiding you through seeing that. If you're not, I know it's a little bit difficult to picture, but Gent are incredibly overloading our single central midfielder there because Dewsbury Hall is, at the moment, a long way away. Madrid runs and gives the ball away so cheaply in the midfield there. Gent on the attack again. Neto tracks back well and works it out with Dazassi. Dazassi on the ball here, holding off about 2 Gent players. Gives it away as well. Dewsbury Hall facing his own goal under a little bit of pressure. Gives the ball back to Jorgensen. All the way out to Badashile here. A little bit of unnecessary panic there. Cassidy picks the ball up in the centre of our midfield. And we're on the attack out with Neto on the right-hand side again. Looks to take on Brown. We want to see Neto on the right, a lot of us Chelsea fans, see what he offers. We've been calling for that. The left-hand side's not exactly been unreal, has it? It's not exactly been unreal from Neto to the start of the season. He's working across here, though. I can tell you that much. He will. Right-footed corner. 6 minutes 50 on the clock. Chelsea have a corner. Neto beat his man. Nothing outrageous, but we've got a corner. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it's gonna be more difficult than I think some of us were expecting from what I've seen. Manchester United, by the way, 8 minutes in, they're already 1-0 up. So Ten Hag's safe. Drop a like for Ten Hag staying at United because that is what we all want. Let's not lie. We don't want to see Ten Hag get the sack. Even though I've said this as a Chelsea fan, as much as the style of football is shocking, I would take the trophies they've won in the last 2 seasons because we've been incredibly close to some trophies in recent times and not won them. Yeah, I'd always take them. That's the definite. It's a poor corner. I've got to be honest. Just a wall of bright fluorescent yellow shirts. Dewsbury Hall picks up the ball here again. Uh, Neto to cross. Vega over his head. Cassidy on the edge looking to hit that, but it's away from Gent again. Mudryk out here just on the central left-hand side area of the pitch. Turns his man, drives into the box. Looking to work something. Felix to shoot. Passes his man. Oh, it's a good block. He's got lovely silky feet there in those situations, doesn't he, João Felix? But a little bit of link up between Mudryk and Felix, which is positive. Stamford Bridge sounds loud, but I have to say, I think that is the noise coming from the Gent fans. It doesn't look like our fans are producing too much noise, but they've given away the ball really cheaply there, but Neto can't do anything with it. Comes up to Cassidy on the edge of the D. And it's actually a really poor pass because it's not actually to anyone. And Neto's offside when he played that. I think that's a slight lack of experience there from Cassidy on the edge of the box because I have to say, in that moment, you can keep the game alive there, and he hasn't. João Felix goes with the outside of his boot on that shot. Maybe, just maybe, you can work something out there with your left foot because I feel like that you're never going to get much success going with the outside of your boot there. Mudryk looking sharp again. Dewsbury Hall's step overs in the middle of the pitch to no one, and Kunku quiet so far in this game gives the ball away. Dewsbury Hall can't get anywhere near that massive Gent centre back stepping forward. Badashile plays a great pass out to Neto though, entering the box. No, shoots from the outside. It's a great block from Gent. Dewsbury Hall back on the ball again. It's fast pace. It's not a slow game as such at the moment. Badashile out, stepping away from the halfway line in towards the final third again. They've got everyone behind the ball as we speak, out all the way out to Neto on the right-hand side. Just trying to see if Neto can have a little bit more impact there. He's had a couple of chances now. I feel like he's got the beating of these players and he's definitely got the pace. I just would hope to see if we can work something with him out on this right-hand side. He's definitely probably started as one of the more livelier players this evening. I'm saying that. Mudryk's looked okay as well. Nothing too much wrong with his performance as we speak. Vega with the ball on the left-hand side to cross. And Kunku, can he get past his man? No. Good defending from Watanabe, actually, there for Gent. Corner for Chelsea. 10 minutes on the clock. I want to see a bit of an improvement. We've got a set-piece coach now, and I've got to be honest. We're in. Oh, I want to see a little bit more from our set pieces. Pedro Neto, perfect place to work a shot. He does. This is what I mean. I feel like Neto has definitely started sharply. Definitely started sharply. Gent just couldn't get the ball under control from that one. So, yeah, a little bit more quality on that shot from Neto, and I think he should have been testing the keeper there. He's dragged it wide. Mudryk, here we go, driving through. Mudryk, oh, it's great feet. Oh, it's a poor pass, Macalo. Zassi does well, though. Gets in front of his man. Dewsbury Hall. Great little pass. Mudryk to whip it back post. Vega heads it. Yes! Oh, Renato. Mudryk assist. It's a lovely goal. Up the Chelsea. 1-0. Come on. Renato Vega drifts in completely unmarked. He's in Marcus Alonso territory. He doesn't wait for the ball to get towards his foot. He heads it straight in to the back of the net. Chelsea lead 1-0. Come on, you Blues. Back in action in Europe. That's what I like to see. Honestly, a little bit too much for Gent to begin with. 11 minutes in. We are winning. Come on. Do you know what? Their left back, under a lot of pressure from Neto, gives it away. Zassi did so well to win it. plays the ball to Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall, I've got to say, fantastic little pass in behind Mudryk, and Mudryk's delivery is spot on. And Vega's header bounces where the keeper doesn't want the ball to bounce, right at the bottom of his dive. It bounces just under his hand. It's in the back of the net. What a goal. Yeah, honestly, I've said it from pre-season. This is one of the things that has impressed me with Maresca a lot, and he's sorted it out since Poch, is the way we press as soon as we lose the ball. When we're on the attack and we lose the ball, we win it back with a lot of in a short space of time with a real high intensity. It means that players are in a really good position for us to spring that attack onto them. That's exactly what happens there. Dazassi wins the ball by reading the game exceptionally well, gives the ball to Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall plays a great pass, like a great pass, by the way, after some of his passes already this evening. That is much improved. Mudryk signalled exactly where he wanted it to go, showing his football IQ is there. We just don't see it enough. And the delivery's quality. And Vega bombing forward. Mudryk's in again here. What a pass from Vega. Mudryk just rushes the cross a little bit straight to keep his hands. But Chelsea looking a little bit electric here. Wingers could have a lot of success this evening, I think, on an early sighting. Gent looked to get in behind. Tosin clears it up quite nicely, to be honest with you. And what we're starting to see is right there, Chelsea have stretched Gent a little bit, and that's freed up a bit of space for Cassidy in the midfield. They're going to drop back in, I'm sure, but right now, the way we've moved the ball so quickly, and if it turns into that basketball game that we've seen before, that will free up a bit of time. But Cassidy once again has 5 players circling him. If you can see that watching along, you have to understand that's a bit of a rarity. You don't see that too often. It's very rare that I'd see a team having that many players around the centre midfielder, but they're pressing very high. And then as soon as the ball passes sort of out of our defensive third, they drop straight back into that mid block and surround Cassidy and really make it difficult for him to get on the ball. So I'm just kind of intrigued to see what Maresca does with that, because that could become a slight issue. But we've played some great football there. João Felix looks like getting behind early, but they do well. No, they're set up well again. I just think for that goal we showed a little bit too much quality. Nah, I haven't, Bobby. I'm just I'm saying what I see, but I appreciate that. Yeah, maybe that's what I'm meant to be. Maybe I'm meant to be a commentator. I feel like that could. No, you never know. Never know. Ah, the score. Ah, boys, honestly, you are miles ahead of me on that one. I'm sorry I didn't change the score. I appreciate you letting me know that, Dan. Unbelievable. Yeah, look, Vega plays it back to Badashile. Tosin, definitely the central of the 3 sort of centre backs today. But Cassidy again finding himself in that circle of 5 surrounding him. He's almost in the center of the donut there. I don't see how, unless he starts doing something drastically different, I don't see how he's going to get on the ball here without a serious amount of pressure around him. It's going to be a lot of wall passes for him this evening, to be honest with you. Yeah, we're getting used to the scoreboard. We spent any watch-alongs we did last season. We didn't have a scoreboard for technical reasons. Cassidy pressed again there. Yet a foul. I've seen them given and I haven't seen them given, but we look to break quickly. Vega steps forward. Mudryk out on the left. Isolated in a one-on-one here. Looks to drive inside on his right foot. Can't really work anything. We're going to restart and probably move it around the other way. Dazassi plays the ball into Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall with a little bit of quick football there. Another. He just passed to He's just passed it to no one. Well done, João Felix, keeping that one on, though, making up for the shocking pass we saw from Dewsbury Hall. I feel like there's a player in Dewsbury Hall. I just don't know if he's a little bit nervous or feeling the pressure putting on this Chelsea shirt. It's a heavier blue than that Leicester one he had to pull on before. I can tell you that much. There's a lot more weight comes with this Chelsea shirt than what would come with the Leicester one. As I think Brendan Rodgers said when questioned about Maresca becoming the Chelsea manager, Badashine, ball just on the halfway line, looks to pass inside, gives it straight away to Gent, and it's an unnecessary counter attack starting. Chelsea do incredibly well again at winning the ball back after losing it. We are looking fantastic. I haven't seen Chelsea look that good in getting possession back and recovering possession. Sorry, since Thomas Tuchel was the manager. It's definitely one of the strengths of this Maresca team is how well we are winning the ball back after losing it. That was a really poor pass from Badashile, and the team have ultimately saved him there from their level of intensity and winning that pass back. Pedro Neto just coming back towards the halfway line now. Tosin, I just want to see this midfield get on the ball a little bit more. I feel like Badashile's giving the ball away again there. He's trying some passes that are probably a little bit overcomplicated because of the way Gent are making it incredibly difficult to play through the middle. There's a lot of bodies in there in and around Cassidy. So they're having to try and like work it around the sides of the team. And I feel like Badashine is struggling with that. That's a great ball from Tosin, though. João Felix into a Cuckoo. Oh, Cuckoo on the volley. That would have been honestly reminiscent of a couple of goals I've seen Chelsea score in the past with some unbelievable players. Do you know what? There's a little bit of star quality in this sort of second 11 that I don't think the first 11 have in the way that they can do some really techie things, João Felix and Nkunku. I feel like they're going to be knocking on that door pretty soon because they are exceptional players. Pedro Neto driving forwards, looks to take on his man, beats him for pace, chops him back into his left foot, chooses me all to shoot. Oh, it's side netting. He's done really well there, actually, Dewsbury Hall. He just held his run. He could have gone a little bit earlier, and he's just held it. It's a great shot, but it's on his weaker right foot. Vega, they're just checking here. No, he's definitely not touched him in the face, has he? Yeah. Oh, Pedro Neto actually beats his man. The guy recovers really well. He chops back inside. Little toe poke to Dewsbury Hall. He hits it with his right instep, fizzes it at the goal, but it's just hitting the side net in there. But again, another real bit of quality with just before that with Tosin playing the ball to João Felix and him flicking it over to Nkunku. Nkunku was trying to hit that chest and volley. Like, that's the level of player we're talking about here. Manchester United scored again as well, but potentially by the look of it, I think Højlund has scored another. Porto really not having a good start to life in the Europa League this season. They are a team. The reason I'm talking about Porto is Andre Villas-Boas is their new sporting director or CEO, I believe. Obviously, a big link to Chelsea there. Actually started the campaign when we won our first Champions League, did Andre Villas-Boas back in 2012, and was part of Mourinho's setup for a period of time. Anyway, Jorgensen's on the ball. Obviously, a high press coming in from Gent. Badashile plays a hopeful pass up to João Felix. Oh, his footwork and ball mastery is just absolutely, undeniably great, João Felix. Dewsbury Hall comes in to help Cassidy there. That's what I've been waiting for. Just come and give him Pedro Neto with the turn. Here we go. Absolutely skins his man. He is against a monster of a defender here. He's recovered really well. I don't know his name. He's the number 23 for Gent, but Neto had him skinned, had him on the turn, pulling away from him, and the guys managed to pull Neto back and win the ball back for Gent. Vega steps in to win it here. Chelsea looking to win the ball back again after losing it very high up in Gent's half. Mudryk with the ball with Vega out on the left-hand side. Mudryk, Dewsbury Hall. Oh, I like this. I'm definitely starting to see glimpses of Maresca's style of football coming through. I think 5 games is too soon to judge. I've been saying that. There we go. Lovely bit of link up. João Felix and Nkunku. Oh, they are on a telepathic level with each other. That was so nearly an unbelievable piece of football. And there's alertness from the centre-backs and central midfielders to play the pass in then. More goals again for the Blues. I hope so, Senu. I really do. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure to smash a like because Chelsea we're starting to turn the, what do they say? Turn the screw. Turn the screw. We're just slowly starting to find some really intricate, clever passes and move the ball with a little bit more intensity, as we do here. That's an obvious foul on João Felix by Watanabe. Don't know if Chelsea will look to play this quick. or not. We'll see. Uh, these sort of situations, when that honestly, there's a little scoop from Nkunku to João Felix there, and he goes for the nutmeg. Oh my gosh, that'd have been unbelievable. Let's see where this free kick is, because these are the sort of areas where I want to see what the set piece coach has been doing. No, we don't do anything from it, to be honest. It's actually not in a bad position, but we've just decided to retain possession. Cassidy receives the ball in a tight area again, and it's just a wall pass. He's going to have a really tough evening today, but as long as he's just making sure that he manages to keep the ball and his passes aren't too ridiculous, and he stays press resistant, we'll be okay. He does really well there on the half turn. Dewsbury Hall stepping through, works onto his left foot. He's in the box. He shoots. It's blocked by Gent. Mudryk in the box, goes to the left. It's a corner. We are definitely looking lively. We're looking good when we're recovering possession. And you know what? There's some serious bits of link-up play starting to come into this side now, which always takes time with a team that won this sort of secondary squad, haven't played a lot of football together, and also they're playing for position and they're playing for places. So a little bit of selfishness can come into that at times because they want to prove they're good enough. But actually, some of their play has been incredibly unselfish. It looks really good. Big cross from João Felix, toasting at the back post, and Vega can't manage to just keep that on. And Kunku and Felix are quality, almost an insult. They're playing in this competition. Yeah, I kind of agree, Bobby. I felt a little bit the same with the Barrow and the fact that they can't get into Chelsea's starting 11. But at the same time, it's incredibly good to see them, isn't it, against weaker opposition, because that's when you see just how good they really are. If you imagined yourself playing against some of the Gent players, I'm sure you'd have a tough afternoon, and they are levels above. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see. One of the teams we looked at earlier, I believe, Petro Club, have actually scored. And if you haven't seen, their stadium is a 1,000 capacity stadium, which I'm pretty sure I could go down to my local non-league ground and find a bigger stadium. So that it just kind of shows the level of teams we're going to see in this competition potentially as we go through it, or sort of navigate it and see other teams getting results. I expect Chelsea to qualify in the top 8, probably at the top of the table, if not in the top 3, with absolute ease, to be honest with you. I really, really do. I would be absolutely shocked if we're finishing any lower than that, because I would expect our goal difference in some games to be exceptional. Cassidy pressed again there by the attacking 4, but we managed to win it back. Mudryk crosses. Neto wins the ball back. Dazassi out on the right. Just goes all the way back to Tosin there. I don't want to see what I don't want to see. I don't want to see this game go stale, because if the game goes stale, then I feel like they might find it a bit more difficult to sort of get back up to tempo. I feel like we need to just keep drilling this side and make it incredibly difficult than by moving the ball quickly. Cassidy does really well. Vega's on the invert. Out to Mudryk again on the left-hand side, looking to beat his man. He does. Shifts it to the edge of the box, goes for a cross and hits his man. Badashile recovers the ball again. We are first at every second ball right now. We definitely are. So big positive for Chelsea on that one, I have to say, is that he's definitely doing a really good job, is Enzo Maresca. Badashile just slowing the 26 minutes in, and I have to be honest, we're just sort of slowing the game down a little bit now. A couple of extra touches are coming into it. Badashile, he's had like 6 touches there. We're definitely slowing the game down a little bit. So yeah, we'll just sort of see how it goes, because I always feel like in a game like this, if you allow a team to sit in and make it difficult to play through, and you slow down, like Badashile gives the ball away again. They're a really cheap pass over the top. That's a long ball rather than a long pass, I have to be honest. Cole Palmer and Lavia are there watching. I've heard this actually. Maresca's asked that everyone's there, even if they're not playing, if they're part of the 11, to watch it, because he feels like it's good for team spirit and camaraderie. And at the end of the game, they're all on the pitch, like shaking hands straight away. That's a really good move, I think. A lot of teams, you do see players, if they're not picked, they can have a day off and that sort of thing. I quite like that. We used to do that as a club, and I feel like that's a good move having people there watching and supporting their guys and actually realizing how the team are playing. You know, if you watch it and you're not part of it, sometimes it's a good thing to just sort of see what the team's about. Chelsea again defending in that familiar sort of 4-4-2 shape. We're starting to see more and more under Maresca. Um, yeah, it's a game that's slowly starting. It started incredibly quickly at times, but I would say it's working its way down to a slightly slower level because it can be difficult to keep that intensity up. I feel like when it does that, the only good thing and positive thing for Chelsea is we've looked really good at springing a game into life, and our players sort of explode at moments. So that's what I'm sort of hoping to see. Pepe's actually just scored for Porto as well. So Manchester United are 2-1 on Ten Hag watch because if he manages to lose that, his record in Europe is abysmal. And the what's so annoying about that, and I said this in my preview, and I don't know if anyone has seen it as well, but I said, isn't it so frustrating that Chelsea were obviously in a position to hang on. Tosin goes over the top here to Neto. It's just gone out of play. I was saying, yeah, Chelsea are obviously the team that should have been playing in the conference in the Europa League if it wasn't for Manchester United winning that FA Cup and the fact that the Manchester United are playing in this way and they've been really poor this season. And we've sort of started the season how we have. I would much rather be playing Porto tonight and testing ourselves against a slightly higher caliber because you get a much better idea of what your team's going to be about. Dewsbury Hall does well there, but unfortunately doesn't win the ball back. But again, I think Tosin's going to have enough to win that. Actually does really well there. I think the ball might have gone out there, though, to be honest. It's going to be a throw-in right on 29 minutes for Gent, just entering Chelsea's defensive third. Tosin is a centre-back as well. I feel like it's fair to say he definitely would give Fofana a run for his money if he can potentially get in that back line alongside Levi Colwell. Obviously, a bit fairly established at Fulham and played probably a bit more football than Fofana has in recent years. And I think he actually looks really tidy. I think a couple of these players, they're just taking a little bit longer to adjust to playing for Chelsea. Omarodian is actually playing for Porto, one of the guys we were linked with. If you guys remember in the summer, one of the strikers we were linked with. I'll tell you what, I'm sure some of you agree that we would have been potentially in a better place had we signed John Duran instead of no other striker in the summer because he looks unbelievable for Villa. That has anyone seen that goal from last night? It's a great goal, and a lot of us were not sure on John Duran because we felt like it was a little bit too early. But yeah, no, he looks really good. Cassidy pressed again under a lot of pressure there. Just about manages to keep possession. He's a physical guy, Cassidy. He's not small, is he? He's definitely one of the bigger central midfielders you'll see. Disasi plays a lovely ball. People underestimate Disassi's ability on the ball. I think Mudryk might have just had a foot to the chest here. That's a little bit dirty from the Gent guy there. He left his foot up there for a crossfield pass from Disasi. And Mudryk chests it or shoulders it a bit, which kind of opened the ball up. It bounces and then bang, yeah, boot to the right to the chest. The guys turn around and go, I was going for the ball. No, the ball's hit. The ball's do me a favor. Honestly, some of these people, you can see why they are at that sort of level. Just sort of seeing where this free kick's gonna be sort of sent in from. It's Neto and João Felix standing over it. Obviously, with our designated free kick taker not being in this squad now, Cole Palmer, I would think it'll be João Felix, but we've not had a bad start from free kicks, have we? If Cole Palmer and João Felix are scoring free kicks, it looks like Felix could take it, but you never know. Neto with his hands up. Neto does cross it left-footed. Tosin gets his head to it, but I thought that could have been a corner, and so did Tosin. It's going to be a long run back for all the big men that have got up for that corner. I'm not sure it's a corner, actually, on second thought. But again, Chelsea pressing incredibly well. João Felix gets a touch to that. The ball's barely left against defensive third. And João Felix is already on the press there, getting a foot in on that one. They have still got the ball though, Gent, and they're looking to build with some tidy football. They do. They're still building. They're up to the halfway line now. There's a ball in behind. He's one-on-one with Badashile. He shoots early with his left foot. It's very easy for Jorgensen to save that one, but an incredibly quick transition there from Gent after what looked like uh, potentially another good press. What I will say is Manchester United are 2-all, and the goal scorer is Samu Omarodian. He's scored. Manchester United started so well in that game, 2-0. They're now drawing 2-all. All is not well for Mr. Eric Ten Hag and Omarodian, the guy we were linked with so heavily in the summer. Obviously, very nearly signed, but due to failing a medical, we believe, or a change in the contract, didn't. We ended up with João Felix instead. I will reiterate, though, I'm far happier that we signed João Felix at this moment in time, even though it's a good header. I have to say, he scored a good goal there. But João Felix is a player we already had a connection to and someone I really do like. But he's absolutely, like, he's bullied De Ligt for that header on Marodian. Oh, my gosh, yeah. And honest emotions. Badashile absolutely misses the ball. Johnson running him now. It's kind of gone back out towards the corner flag. He's going to turn inside. He plays it all the way back to the number 19. Gent just with a chance to try and work something here. I must admit, after half an hour, I was kind of expecting Chelsea to have a little bit more of a lead here. They're going to work a shot, but Vega's there just in time. We're still stuck on the edge of our own box here. They're looking to play in behind again. They're going to try and work across. Vega in a battle just inside our penalty area. Ball out on the right now to Gamba, the guy who's just fouled Madrid. Gent having a little bit of a spell here. They do again. Try to work the ball down the right-hand side, but nothing comes from it at the moment. Again, they play another ball. They've worked their way into the penalty area. Johnson shoots. Is that a save or slightly over? That is incredibly patient from Gent. 3 times they tried to work it down the right-hand side there. On the final occasion, they did, and he's had a great shot. They've just shown Eidur Johnson sat there with his other son, Daniel, I believe, and my gosh, those two are a spit of each other. Arnie is not quite as close looking as Ida, but those two in the crowd, Daniel and Ida, look incredibly similar. But yeah, I have to say it's a weirdly nice touch that this fixture has thrown up, seeing Ida back in the stands and having one of his boys play on the Chelsea pitch again. That is probably something that means a lot to him, even though it's not in a Chelsea shirt. It's still pretty special, isn't it? Eidur Johnson, the family is one that actually has a bit of footballing heritage because I'm pretty sure Ida played on the same pitch as his dad for Iceland, and maybe Ida and his son played at some point. I'm not entirely sure, but there is definitely footballing heritage there throughout that family. They're without doubt probably the number one footballing family in Iceland, I'd expect. But yeah, what a player Eidur Johnson was. If you don't know, I would definitely suggest doing your research. An incredibly sublime footballer with some wonderful trophies at Chelsea. What's happened here? 35 minutes on the clock. We were just about to play out. I don't know if the ball was moving. We do again. Another one that I always wonder is Jorgensen and the ref have exactly the same colour top on. I thought that wasn't allowed. João Felix blatantly fouled there, and the ref's going to let it play on. Cassidy picks up the ball. He's alert to it, but João Felix was absolutely manhandled. I'm not sure where the advantage was in that because we've ended up with the ball on the same spot as where João Felix was pretty much manhandled as well. We are on the halfway line. 10 minutes on from when I said the game was just starting to slow down. It has a little bit in terms of Chelsea's chances. Pedro Neto, again, a little bit light on the ball there, but the rest going to blow up for a foul on that one. I just think that was a little bit over the top from the Gent player there. But 36 minutes in, I don't know whether this is exactly what I mean. Is we've looked sharp and we've had opportunities, but these games can be tough to navigate. And I think we would have expected that we might have had another goal by this point from how we started, but just find it a little bit difficult at the moment to try and work out how our next goal may come because the press is high. Badashile plays the ball through to João Felix, though, working a bit of magic again, loses the battle here, but the ball's gone out for a throw in deep in against half, pretty much level with the 18-yard line for Chelsea. But yeah, the mid block is there. Midfield are finding it incredibly tough. The defense are finding it tough to play through at times. They're having to be patient on the ball and just sort of hope that there's a bit of movement. If I'm being completely honest, I think I'd like to see Dewsbury Hall just come and help out Cassidy a little bit more because he's finding it tough to be able to turn. He's literally in there as a wall. It's passed from him to Tosin, back to Badashile, and vice versa quite often. Dewsbury Hall looking to play from the side, as we've seen before, gives the ball away. The left back is an absolute unit, as is the left-sided centre back, I would say, for Gent. They are giving Pedro Neto an incredibly physical game. Disasi wins the ball back, though. Neto, Felix looks to play the ball through to Disasi, running on, looking to be Chelsea's most advanced player there, but we couldn't quite thread the needle all the way back up to the centre backs again. Gent occupying a low block as we speak. And again, there's that sort of circular five surrounding Cassidy, giving him an incredibly tough time there in the midfield. Defense having to be patient here and building up from the sides. It looks as if that's how we're going to be getting around it today is, I would say, Vega and Dewsbury Hall. Badashile's giving the ball away again here. He's going to be in a one-on-one battle. He's going to go back to the keeper. He doesn't. He takes a touch. It's going to go out for a corner here. That's all on Badashile. That's really sloppy. He's played a shite pass. Then he could play it back to the keeper under relatively low amount of pressure, and he doesn't. And he takes an extra touch, and then he passes the ball back with his right foot, and it goes up for a corner. It's not the first time I've been slightly concerned when Badashile's been facing his own goal. And I think for that reason, he is rightly not getting a sniff of the first team here because there's a lot of uncertainty that comes with him, and especially when he's facing his own goal. Remember that sort of own goal / mistake he scored last season? I think it might have been against Brentford, if I remember rightly. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, there's a couple of mistakes in his game, and he just doesn't fill me with confidence when he's facing his own goal. Probably Chelsea's worst defender by quite some way at the moment, I would say, because I think Disasi hasn't really put a foot wrong, even though he's playing out of position right now. When he's been getting in the first 11 tonight, he's been fine playing in that sort of hybrid role, which suits him a lot more. Playing as an out-and-out right back is just, I've always said this, I feel for Disasi because that absolutely just isn't the right position for him. But Tosin, another one that's playing well. Vega as well, playing well. Fofana's started well. And hang on, they're just entering the box again here. They looked across. Badashile does head it away and an offside. But yeah, Badashile is concerning because that is sloppy, and it's not the first time he's given the ball away this evening. And I feel like the majority of their chances have at times come from a slight Chelsea mishap. It's almost a bit like Brighton as such. They're not really working all their opportunities, and we're kind of giving the ball away, and that leads to them getting an opportunity. And I just wonder if that's kind of when you know if the team keeps making individual errors, that's when you've got a bit of an issue because ultimately that the player probably isn't good enough, as harsh as that is. But yeah, it looks. What I was saying is where they've circled Cassidy and made it incredibly tough for him to play out. Vega and Dewsbury Hall are sort of drifting out wide to try and get on the ball around the sort of circle that's surrounding him, as well as Disasi and Badashile at times occupying the ball sort of around that circular five they've got in. And then they have a flat back five as well, making it incredibly difficult with three centre-backs and a couple of wing-backs, making it incredibly difficult for Chelsea to find much space anywhere on the pitch. But with the quality of João Felix, he's managing to do so probably more than anyone else in the team. And Kunku relatively quiet so far. The wingers, again, are able to get on the ball fairly often because of us looking to play out wide. But they are having a tough battle because I would say that Actually, the centre back gets over incredibly well to double up on the left-hand side, and they're very like, they're good players in a way, in the probably with maybe not so much their ability, but what they offer physically is giving, Neto a tough evening out on the right-hand side, and Mudryk as well hasn't got the smoothest battle out here. They've both been able to beat their man at times, but it's not easy by any stretch. Vega looks to play a ball in behind to Felix. He does. Felix gets there first, but just only able to bounce it off the keeper. Gent looked to play it again. Vega steps in incredibly well. We'd win the ball back again, right on Gent's final third. Mudryk being held there. Not a foul, ref, no. Ball on the halfway line. Tosin looks to start Chelsea's attack again out here with Dewsbury Hall. Cassidy plays it all the way back. We just sort of played it round our defence and defensive midfielder there. Back out to Mudryk on the left. Can he beat his man? Does beat him fantastically well. Gamba on a yellow is chasing Mudryk. Mudryk enters the box, crosses with the left foot, and away by Watanabe. Mudryk, that's what I want to see. Your guy's on a yellow card. Take him on. Make him chase you. Make him make a mistake, because that is, if we could get him down to 10 men, then that makes the season a little bit more easier for us, you would hope. But for now, defense way higher than the halfway line, an incredibly high line, like an incredibly high line right now, trying to force our way through. We're at the door with a battering ram right now. Mudryk on the verge of half time. Chelsea really trying to force an extra goal and a little bit of a comfort zone going into that half time break. Vega receives the ball from Tosin deep into their penalty area, but can't quite get it under control. They're playing it all the way back. Badashile does really well to win the ball back as well. High up, Chelsea have the ball again, incredibly quickly after losing it, right on Gent's defensive third. Dazassi stepping forward, plays the ball out to Neto. He's now probably one of Chelsea's highest players out on the right-hand side, to give you an idea of how far into Gent's half we are. But Neto on the ball again. Pretty much every single Gent player behind the ball. They're in their low block now, and they're incredibly well drilled, and we're finding it difficult to play through as we work the ball out to Mudryk. Mudryk goes early to Neto, but Watanabe far more alert to that one. And it's going to go out, though, after a good bit of pressing for a Gent goal kick. 44 minutes in, another sort of 10 minutes on the clock. The last 20 minutes, Chelsea have slightly flattered to deceive. I think they're finding it a little bit harder than they thought they might. Gent are set up really well defensively, like really well. They have definitely understood what their manager has asked of them to restrict the areas where Chelsea have looked to play in recent games through the midfield. But we're on the press again, and that's probably where I think Chelsea are probably going to find most of their success, is if Gent look to build and play, but we press well. I think we might find a way to turn that defense into attack in a high up area. But Badashine and Vega are just under a bit of pressure here. Badashine doesn't manage to keep it in and kicks it out for a throw in. Chelsea in their defensive third, right on the brink of half time. Again, I would consider Maresca thinking that is probably sloppy from Badashile. They cross it. Badashile doesn't take a touch in his own box. It's away, but only to Cassidy, who enters the box again. Mudryk plays the ball. It's a great high press from Gent, but we're able to play through. Mudryk well alert to that. Dewsbury Hall drives through the midfield. We're out with Neto on the right-hand side here. One-on-one with his man. Now a 1v2. They've got everyone back really quickly, but João Felix has the ball on the edge of the box. Neto to shoot, hits his man, and it just sort of rolls into the hands of the Gent goalkeeper. And Gent had so many players on the high press there, absolutely in and around Chelsea, really trying to make it difficult for us to play out. Mudryk was so aware of what was going on there. He managed to spin on that and play it straight to Dewsbury Hall. He did. Rashford's in here, by the way, for Manchester United shoots. Doesn't make much of an effort there. But Chelsea go into this one 1-0 up at half time. A slightly more challenging final 20 minutes than what I think the first 20, 25 minutes were. But yeah, there's something to play for here for Gent. So we need to make sure we're sharp when we're coming out to the second half. Very alert, because a little bit more challenging than I think we might have thought that was going to be. Let me know your thoughts, guys, if you're just coming back in for that one. Are you happy with that? Do you think Chelsea are looking like the team you thought they would look tonight? Do you think, the Conference League's gonna be more of a challenge? Let me know your thoughts. Because I this is what I've been saying is this isn't a whitewash for Chelsea. Like, we are not battering Gent by any means. At times, we've looked really good, and I think at times we've been very, very good at recovering the ball quickly. We just haven't been able to turn that into that hard work and determination into a second goal as of yet. Pezzi, I agree. Although quiet so far, I think a very good player. Jao Felix has probably been the player, Neto, that I think have been able to sort of take the game a little bit to get Mudryk at times as well as beating his man. And I think that's one I'd look out for in the second half with his defender really being on a booking Gamba, I think it is. But I know some of you just coming in after watching that one. I would love to know your thoughts as well and just see where you're at. If you haven't already and you're just joining the stream, make sure to like. We are trying for 30 likes today on the stream. And if you haven't already subscribed, if you are new, because Chelsea fans, we are trying to build this community up to 3,000 subscribers, which would be absolutely unbelievable going into Christmas. That is our aim. But yeah, an okay half, one I can live with, one that can be improved on, but ultimately a tougher test for Chelsea than we probably expected. I'm seeing complaints about KDH Twitter. I didn't think he's that bad. I think he gave the ball away a couple of times, but at times he's actually I mean he probably was one of the main reasons that we were able to have any sort of chance defensively as well, I would say. So yeah, I'm not sure I would say Dewsbury Hall's been that bad. I would probably say let me stop the clock. I would probably say uh what is it on? There we go. 45 minutes. I would say Dewsbury Hall, yeah, Felix is quality, Ollie. I agree. Dewsbury Hall been poor. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I agree with that. I don't think he's been poor. I just don't think he's been unbelievable. We have to remember there's a bit of a difference. I would say Badashile's been poor. Badashile's given the ball a lot, given the ball away a lot. He's been sloppy defensively at times. He nearly gave them a really good opportunity right near the end of that first half. I don't think it's fair to say Dewsbury Hall was bad, like shocking. I'm not sure that's fair. There's a couple of moments where his passing wasn't great. I do think he might be a level below this Chelsea team, though. I do think that. I don't know. I don't want to judge him too quickly, but yeah, he's not exactly been. It's not a blinding performance from him by any means. He's definitely not running the show. And this is what my issue was a bit against Barrow is that I don't think him or Cassidy were able to have enough of an input on the game from midfield. And I think, again, this half, I would say that he isn't either. And I feel like that's what we're lacking. Cassidy is finding it incredibly difficult to get on the ball with the way that Gent are set up. And Dewsbury was not dropping in there. And we found this a lot with Enzo last year and at times this season as well, is those players, whether or not they're instructed to or not, need to drop in to try and help Cassidy in that role. Because otherwise, yeah, I agree, Ted. I think that's what I'm trying to say is I don't think he offers enough in that position because if you're good enough, you can drop deep to help Cassidy get out of that press. But yeah, Cassidy is definitely taking too many touches at times. I'd agree with you on that. For me, Badashile's probably been the worst performer of the first half. I think it's harsh to say anyone's having a really bad game anywhere else, but the midfield is underwhelming. I have to agree. I think they really should be running it, and our centre backs are having far too much of the ball when I think our midfielders should be the ones getting on it and trying to thread the needle because they should be the ones with the higher quality level of passing, not Badashile, who 9 times out of 10 gives the ball away when he tries to thread the needle with a pass into the midfield. And that's probably where I think Vega and because he's inverting and Dewsbury Hall on the right should be coming to help Cassidy as a youngster as well. I know it doesn't really matter when you're out on the pitch, but they should be giving him a bit of support there. But yeah, Bobby says Felix is quality. I'd like to see Sancho and Kunku, Felix and Palmer front four. Yeah, that would be great, mate. We've said that a couple of times, haven't we? It would be nice to see those players all playing together. That would be really interesting. Imagine if you could get all of them on the pitch and Jackson. That would be great. We need a second goal in the second half quickly. I agree. Wouldn't make any changes yet in terms of personnel, but I might try and do something with that midfield because I just don't think it's having the effect I would want my midfield to have on a game of football. Maybe Maresca's happy. Maybe he wants his centre backs to have the ball as much as they are, but I would be worried if Badashile was one of the players I was relying on to potentially get the ball to my strikers because I just don't think he's good enough. Lil Saxophone says Badashile is the worst player I've laid eyes on. His reason we almost lost. Yeah, look, Badashile has definitely been the reason we've lost a couple of games of football, which ultimately, if you're doing that as a player, there's something wrong. We are the 12th we're 12th in the Conference League table. Yeah, ultimately, goal difference is going to come into it in this competition, I think. And I have to say that I really do think we should be battering teams if we have the opportunity to, because I don't want to miss out on the top eight because of goal difference. Um, but you have to remember, if people are slating Dewsbury Hall, don't forget the pass he played to Mudryk. It was a very good pass. Now I know one pass doesn't make you a good player, but I have to say, great pass. Vega off of the back of Mudryk's cross as well, with a fantastic header and a really good goal, actually, I thought. But yeah, a couple of moments there, here and there, of potentially some really nice link up play. But yeah, I'm not sure. We to change no fire need a win with few goals. We Mister to change no five. We need a win with few goals. I'm not quite sure what you mean there, Nicholas. If you could let me know again, more than happy to discuss it. After his hat trick, Madueke hasn't really performed. I have to agree with this. We've mentioned that a couple of times. Obviously, not playing tonight, but when you see the quality of João Felix and Kunku, even Neto as well at times, even Mudryk, Madueke's got to be looking over his shoulder because there is quality that could potentially allow us to sort of rearrange things in our attacking players. And I do wonder if something could happen there soon if Madueke doesn't quite step up to the level we saw against Wolves. Okay, Kieran Dewsbury Hall, Bobby, I hope this is right. Had 45 touches with 36 passes at 90% pass accuracy. That's better than typical. Yeah, I think there's just a couple of passes, wasn't there, for Dewsbury Hall, where he ultimately. By the way, if Diego, just quickly before I get to that, if Diogo Costa is in goal for Porto, he's been awful on both United's goals, by the way, like really bad. But what I was saying is there was a couple of moments where we had a really high chance of having a really good attack, and Dewsbury Hall has just been a bit sloppy with that pass. And I think that was a little bit earlier on. And then I feel like the way he's not running the game as one of our two main central midfielders that start in the game, that's an issue for me because if I was playing in that game of football, I would be trying to get on the ball there as Dewsbury Hall because I would think that I'm of a level above the majority of game players, but he's kind of hiding in a gap, waiting for the ball to come to him so that then he can turn on it and hopefully thread something through. But actually, sometimes you have to go and get the ball first, move it on a bit, and then receive it. And Jack Wilshere was brilliant at doing that, albeit he had a lot of injuries, but he was fantastic as a centre midfielder of actually drop deep, get on the ball, pass, move when the ball is moving separately and away from you into the area you want to receive the ball, and then you can make something happen. You know, that third man run. But yeah, I'm not quite sure Dewsbury Hall is doing enough of that at the moment. And I'd want my centre midfielder to be running the show against Gent. Casaday's finding it incredibly tough. And yeah, he's having an okay game, but what do you expect? The guy's a kid, and Dewsbury Hall is a player that is trying to prove that he's at the level of Chelsea Football Club. But hopefully they can have a better second half because off the back of Barrow and this, I would say we're a little bit short. If we hadn't left Lavia out of this, I think I'd probably have him in. And I have to say as well that if Carney wasn't or isn't injured or hadn't been left out, I'd probably be thinking twice about bringing him on in the second half as well if things were to stay pretty similar because I feel like Carney is easily good enough to have an effect on this game. I think we should buy Anthony Robinson, says Lil Saxophone. I'm not sure why you would think off of this game that Anthony Robinson would be a player that Chelsea should be looking at. I feel like Vega's not having a shocking game, to be honest with you, and his ability to step into midfield is really good. Actually, he's a great find, Vega. I have to say that. In the Conference League, Dan says I would give Dewsbury Hall a go in. I would give Casado Dewsbury Hall a go in midfield. Yeah, Dewsbury Hall. I'm just trying to see what happens there. I'm not sure if we'll see Cassidy come off as of yet. But what I would say is if we do see him come off and Gent continue to play the same way, we may see the difference in quality between Casado and Cassidy because you might see the press resistance of Casado. I'm sure he'll give it a go in a couple of moments for sure. But look, an okay half. Chelsea are winning, which is the most important thing. Haven't conceded as of yet. Defense look okay, apart from Badashile. I actually think Azasi, Tosin, even Jorgensen, quiet, okay, at times. He hasn't had the busiest game in the world, but with the ball at his feet, looked okay. I just think, yeah, okay, we've been all right. I'm not saying it because of Vega, but I feel like it could be a good start and give Cucurella some competition. I've got to be honest, I don't think I see a space for Anthony Robinson in this team because Vega is quite clearly proven to be good enough competition at the moment for Cucurella. And Cucurella really isn't doing too much wrong, if I'm being honest with you. Cucurella inverts incredibly well. And I don't think I see a need for Anthony Robinson with the way Maresca's currently playing football. If we had a more obvious left back, then maybe there'd be a discussion because I think he's very good. But I've got a funny feeling he's going to end up at Liverpool. I think that's one to watch. I've just got a strange feeling he ends up there. Just hope we get a second half, a goal in the second half, and getting a good start in the Conference League. Yeah, I think that's what we all want. Off of what I've seen tonight, I'd take a 2-0 win. I would keep the clean sheet because they've looked dangerous at times. Good Johnson had a good shot. Keep the clean sheet, eradicate a couple of the mistakes that happened in the first half, and score another goal of high quality early on, and hopefully manage the game or take the game away from them. Either way, but yeah, I would like to see a goal fairly early into this second half. That is for sure. Yeah, Anthony Robinson. Where is he? Is he American born or is he from a different country? Because I've seen that obviously he plays for America, but I've heard him speak, and I don't think I heard an American accent. Guys, let me know your thoughts on the game. Any players you change at halftime? Anything you change tactically? Thoughts on how Maresca set us up? I'd love to know your thoughts. Just having a look around at the results elsewhere in Europe. Nothing really to report by Manchester United. Obviously, Samu Omarodian scoring for Porto as well, a guy we were linked with so heavily in the summer. Um, but what I will say is, whilst we're live right now, if you haven't already, make sure to drop a like on the video. Because we are back in Europe, Chelsea are fighting to get off to a really good start against Ghent, as difficult as it is. But yeah, make sure to like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe if you're new, because we are now, wow, we're like 110 subscribers away from 3,000. We can make that happen with definitely by Christmas, guys. Definitely could. Um, we're one away from 20 likes. I want to hit 30 for this one. If you're watching now or towards the end, but I appreciate everyone that's managed to smash the like button so far. Chelsea are looking for their first win in Europe for probably, when did we last? 2023? Since 2023, we probably haven't won a game since we beat Borussia Dortmund in Europe, I'd say. So looking for our first win in a wait, 23? That's probably not right, is it? 22? 22? No, I think it's 20. Guys, when was our last European win? When was that? 23. Okay, okay. We haven't had a win since 2023 in Europe. Want to see a bit of Mark Gu. Honestly, I'm not that bothered about if I see Mark Gu play football. He's not one of the guys that brings a lot of excitement to me. This is the sort of game where I think I wish we'd signed a striker, potentially in the summer. But at the same time, if we had, then Nkunku wouldn't be playing, would he? And Nkunku's looking okay up top. I just wonder. I feel like we should be running this game against Gent. To be honest with you, we need cover at right back more on the left. Once, yeah, I agree. Reese, we're struggling with that, aren't we? Whilst Reese is out, managing the right back side of things is difficult. I have to admit, though, what we're seeing tonight probably works quite well with Dazassi and playing in this three at the back role with the other two, in Tosin and Badashile. I don't actually think it's that bad. I think you could also play Vega in Badashile's role, and potentially play a Cucurella or something like that as well that can invert if needed. But yeah, there's definitely an issue with the fitness of our right backs. No changes to report at half time as well, by the looks of it. No, no changes at all. Cassidy, Vega, yeah, no changes. And here we go. Second half underway. Come on, Chelsea. I am looking for a couple more goals here. Bring me some excitement, please, Chelsea. Um, yeah, so that's why I'm not that excited about seeing Mark Gu play football. I think Nkunku is easily flexible enough to play in a different number of positions as well. If we do sign a striker, I think the quality's there. Um, I just don't want to see Nkunku leave. I want to really see him have a chance to get a few games without injury in the starting 11 because I believe there's a lot of quality there, and I wouldn't want to see that go. Dazassi looks to play the ball in behind Neto to shoot early on. We've scored straight away. Come on. Chelsea 2-0. Dazassi plays a ball over the top. Neto charges in behind. We're way more switched on, and he rifles the ball right footed into the back of the net. Less than a minute on the clock of the second half. Chelsea 2-0 up. That is what I was on about. Explode into life in moments in this game. And we have done that. Every little thing is going to be all right. Come on, you Blues. Look at that. Dazassi gets the ball, sees the space, sees Neto's run. I have to be honest, yeah. Dazassi gets a lot of stick, but his passing range is pretty good, you know. A lot of stick, mate. But I can live with Dazassi being part of this Chelsea team. It's a great strike as well. Neto battling against Wantanebi, rifles it with his right foot. Pedro Neto on the score sheet again. He is rapid, rapid. But yeah, come on. What a start. Now, don't take your foot off the gas, Chelsea. Don't take your foot off the gas. What I'll say is, if you haven't already, go get on your burners and drop a like on this one because Chelsea are winning games in Europe again. Come on, doesn't that feel good, man? Doesn't it feel good? 2-0 up. That's what we were looking for. That should have come in the first half, but it didn't. Um, let's just manage yourself, Pedro Neto, because the last thing I want to do is see you pulling up with any sort of injury. I have to be honest, because you're having a tough battle tonight. He's not having an easy game. He is against um, a guy called Jordan and another player as well who are like physical, incredibly tough physical players. The left back as well. I can't see his name. He's got a battle on his hand. Early goals in half. Yeah, look, do you remember, Bobby, right? This is such a good point because last year under Pochettino, we would come out second half and just be way off it. And like we wouldn't be that great. And sometimes we'd struggle. And I feel like that's been addressed as well. Maresca is doing something right for the players to come out at a good intensity and a good level early on. Porto very nearly go 3-2 up to start their half as well. Keeping an eye on that one, obviously, on Ten Hag Fraud Watch. And Kunku wasn't in the box then, which surprised me. Chelsea just having a cross into the box there. But and Kunku, one of our deepest players back. Good Johnson trying to hold the ball up here for Gent to start building an attack. Chelsea get back into their 4-4-2 shape that we've seen a lot under Maresca. Dazassi in a one-on-one situation here blocks the ball, and it's going to go for a Gent corner. So Gent looking to reply straight away here from the corner, I would say. Another area I've been really keeping a close eye on uh, for Chelsea since the arrival of the set piece coach is how we're setting up offensively and defensively from attacking and defensive set pieces, just to sort of see what we look like. A bit of zonal and man marking going on there. They're on the edge of the box trying to work a shot. They don't. Again, we don't regain possession. They're looking to cross here. They do. Number four's wide open. It's a goal. It's shocking defending from Chelsea, and it's 2-1. It's shocking defending. Like, it's really bad, guys. The ball, it's a good finish. He can't miss. The guy, like Jorgensen barely moves. It's Watanabe, drifts away from any marker, and they're in. Chelsea players have gone to the ref here, but that is too easy. The ball comes in and Kuku gets his head on it. It goes out to the edge of the box. It's Dazassi gets a block, but our players stay so close and they don't get out to the players quick enough, which we've seen before. It's gonna be checked for offside. Badashino, the furthest man back. Maybe he's offside, but I'm not sure. It's if he isn't offside, and even if he is offside, it's too easy. It's far too easy because Dazassi blocks the ball, right? And instead of everyone then picking up where the players have gone to as Gent spread, Chelsea stay really tight and no one gets out to their man, which allows Gent to play the cross. And no one is picking up Watanabe. No one. Offside or not, no one is picking him up. If that's a goal, I wouldn't be surprised. It's going to be an incredibly tight call, but yeah, way too easy for Chelsea, whether that's a goal or not. The defending, we've seen that before. I think Crystal Palace, we failed to sort of come alive after defending the first movement, first action of a set piece. Porto have scored. Omarodian scores again. Maybe we've missed out on another quality number 9 that none of us knew anything about. Maybe our scouts do know what they're doing. But Porto are winning 3-2. Villas Boas looks to the heavens as Ten Hag. Oh my gosh. Is it going to be the end of Ten Hag this evening? We're still waiting on the goal check here in Chelsea's game. Nothing to... I think it's a goal. It's a goal. That's honestly shocking defending. Like, that's shocking. We've brought in a set piece coach, and I haven't seen enough improvement from our set pieces yet to see what he's doing. No wonder Poch didn't want one. I don't know if we were this bad on set pieces, were we? Were we? Yeah, that's shocking, mate, because that basically cancels out the goal. It's not a clean sheet. It's like there's better teams in the league. We're going to play than what Gent have just done there from that set piece. That's on Chelsea for being too easy for me. That's really poor. But yeah, 2-1. As Manchester United go 3-2 down, Chelsea's lead is cut to 1 in the space of minutes. Vega looking to play the ball in behind, smashes it into the Gent defenders. Again, they're making it incredibly difficult to play through. They almost look more aware now of where we've been playing the ball out to the sides, and they're cutting that passing lane off as well. So be aware of that, because I don't know. We've managed to get through there. Cassidy, too long on the ball for me there. Back to Dewsbury Hall. Again, not able to work too much. Cassidy, yeah, they're set up incredibly well, Gent, like I've been saying. And there's not many passing lanes, but Neto looks to find one. He just can't get it under control. Dazassi steps in, wins it incredibly well. And Nkunku with the back heel. Back to Nkunku. Does work a shot, but it's blocked. Dewsbury Hall and Nkunku link up well there, I have to be honest. Dazassi is so alert to the pass coming out from Gent, looking to counter-attack us. Dazassi has been so alert to it on a number of occasions today. I'll be honest. I don't know how that's not offside. That looks offside to me. Actually, on that steal, that looks offside. Doesn't matter. It wasn't good enough. It's poor defending. I know people don't like negativity, but that is shocking. What do you want me to do? I can't dress that up in any way apart from telling you that that defending isn't good enough for a team looking to get into the top four of the Premier League. It's not good enough. It's poor. We've now got a set piece coach. Do better, and the players do better. It's not acceptable. That's twice now I've seen it this season where we failed to do enough on the second action of a set piece. Palace, when when Eze scored that goal, and in that moment there, when no one got out to their men quick enough, and Kunku can't quite get onto that hopeless ball from Badashile. Yeah, it's definitely proven a little bit more difficult to navigate this one. This probably is going to be one of our more tougher games. You'd think out of the teams who've been drawn to play in this early league stage of of the Conference League. Cassidy tracks back well, but they're on the attack here. That's a blatant handball. They're going to let us play on. Dewsbury Hall looking to turn defence into attack. He's fouled quite obviously as well. Ref's not going to give it. Jao Felix allows every single player to get back there. Dazassi looking to step forwards. He doesn't. He plays the ball into Jao Felix. Jao Felix again looking up with Dazassi. Now Dazassi looks to step forward. He plays the ball out to Neto, who's behind him. Chelsea finding it difficult to find players in between the lines right now. We've had to force it all the way back to Tosin and again to Badashile, who's looking to force his way through. As we've seen him do many times today, he decides not to, though, on this occasion. Uh, Bobby, what'd you say? Both Omroni and Duran deals collapsed because Chelsea lowballing can't give them any credit for that. I think I give the scouts credit for identifying them as players to go after. With the way I'm seeing Omrodian play for Manchester against Manchester United, he scored 2 goals, and I'd give him credit. I bet he gets a move, and I'd also give him credit for Duran because Duran we were not all sure about. We knew there was quality there, but we didn't know he would start to the season how he has for Villa. I'm sure the scouts didn't know he'd start like that either. But yeah, they're players that are looking to be real talents, and maybe we have to trust our scouting team because none of us knew who Vega was as well, and he's had a good start. Again, Badashile on the halfway line with the ball, incredibly small amount of space in between the lines. They managed to find a way through though. Cassidy plays it up to Vega. Vega plays it up to Nkunku. He gets it back. He enters the box with Vega, cuts it back. Can't quite work the ball to Felix, who was in a fantastic little area in the box. Mudryk wins it back again as soon as we lose it. Neto just can't quite get there. It's all the way over the top of him. Dazassi keeping the pressure on here, looking to play through to Dewsbury Hall on the edge of their box. Felix as well. Chelsea are really putting the pressure on. We're trapping them in here. Great ball in behind. Mudryk enters the box. It's not a penalty, but as he goes to ground, Gent get it away for a corner. I was lost for a word there that I was looking for, but we are like squeezing them in with the way we were keeping the ball there, moving it with a good intensity from side to side in an attempt to find a way through. They're incredibly tight, compact defense. So Jao Felix on the corner here. Bit of pushing and argy bargy. Tosin 2-handed push. Yeah, ref's going to come over and have a word. Oh no, he's going to have a proper word. He's pulled them both over as well. No more. That's enough. Back you go. These refs love it, man. They love it. They know they're on camera. Don't need to do that. Just get on with the game, mate. Right, here we go. Jao Felix the cross. This is definitely one from the training ground. It hits the first man, and it's out for another corner. Again, another underwhelming set piece for Chelsea, considering the recent employment of a set piece coach. I'm yet to see too much. I'm really not sure. Obviously, coming in from Brentford, I believe, who were renowned and are still renowned from what they're able to do from set pieces. So again, another attempt. Chelsea line up around the penalty area in a line vertically facing the goalkeeper. They now separate. Most players go deep towards the back post. Neto to take the corner. Looking at the movement, it's going to be no one again. And I think it's out for another corner, a bit deeper that time. But the back post player, is it Mitrovic, heads the ball away. Their captain. Again, Chelsea looking like a real physical unit going forward there, with the players coming up from the back against the not small Gent side, but Dazassi, Badashile, Vega, and Tosin are huge players, all probably well over 6'2". Jao Felix to cross again. Most of the big players send towards the back post. Refs had enough of the pushing and shoving again, stops the game. It's no more, no more. Ref, get on with the game. What? Like, this is just he just knows the camera's on him. The pushing is like it's minimal. Felix the cross from the left hand side. It's a good cross straight at the keeper though. And Badashine looking to keep the ball in on the right hand side. He does moves the ball back to Mudryk. Mudryk with a nice pass to Neto. Neto to work across deep to Dazassi. It's a Bicey attempt from Cassidy, and it's out for a goal kick. But for a succession of corners there, with all the work that I presume's been done on set pieces, a Cassidy bicycle kick, I'm sure, is the last thing anyone is expecting to see uh, in terms of the coaches from that situation. I'm sure they have a better idea of what they're expecting to see from set pieces. I just don't think we're seeing it come to fruition right now. Just to remember that Gamba, the right-sided defender for Gent, is on a yellow card. I would like to see Mudryk get him isolated, or Neto, if they can, because I really think that's a guy who's willing to make a rash challenge if he gets beat again, especially on a 2-1 scoreline where they know there's a chance for him to keep this tie alive. Orejo looks to come on for again. I don't know much about him. I've just seen the camera cut to him as he's taking instructions from one of their coaches. Cassidy receives the ball in that tight area again and does really well, actually, there. A little bit of press resistancy there. Cassidy's having to play a lot of passes, 1 and 2 touch. And at times in the first half, he hasn't. But second half, I think he's understood that he just needs to move that ball a little bit quicker. And he's doing that right now. It's just when he's not under pressure, I worry that he takes a little bit too long at times. And we've seen that in pre-season. He doesn't always know when to release. Dazassi looks to play a ball through to Nkunku in the penalty area. It does, and Nkunku can't keep the ball in there, has to drift out. He runs into the brick wall that is their number 3, goes straight down, holds his face. Gent looked to counter-attack. Neto's recovery pace is more than enough to stop that. I hope Neto's okay. Kind of reached for his groin there as he released that pass. But that would worry me. Vega receiving the ball. Cassidy again, actually trying to make something happen. Cassidy's having a much improved and a bit more success here. Mudryk to cross, goes up for a corner. Yeah, I have to say, Cassidy is looking more improved this half than Dewsbury Hall. Cassidy is kind of understood. Plays a great little ball through there, just sort of through the line to Vega. It is Vega turns, plays to Mudryk. Mudryk works across to no avail, but that's what I want to see from Chelsea. Obviously, we've shown so many times this season how good and we can be in transition when we move the ball quickly, and that's when we seem to get most of our opportunities. And we definitely found ourselves in a good position there. To take a corner again is, I believe, Jao Felix. Neto standing over it as well. Short one. It's a short corner. Felix to cross, hits first man, second man. Third man plays it back in. Tosin. Vega to shoot, works it onto his left foot. He can't quite. Someone to hit, please. And Nkunku! It's a goal. Come on. That one comes to fruition. Chelsea 3-1 up, and the main man up top, Christopher Nkunku, showing levels to this game again. A fantastic finish. Absolutely drills it. It was just sitting there waiting to be hit. And who is alert to it? The French international, off the back of his call up to the national team, rifles that one home. Honestly, he is unbelievable. Up goes the balloon. Christopher Nkunku is becoming a bit of a fan favourite at Chelsea. And I can tell you right now, that knock is getting a little bit louder on Maresca's door with every passing minute for Chelsea. They are checking for offside. I don't think it is. Vega, 3 players managed to get their head on that, but just couldn't work his shot off on the second phase. Ball gets away from him just a little bit, pretty much in line with the centre, with the penalty spot. And Nkunku rifles it at the keeper. The keeper dives, and the ball literally goes over with a lot of intensity or through the diving keeper's legs. He's hit that with so much venom that no matter what the keeper did there, it was always going through his legs. And Kunku scores again, 3-1 Chelsea. VAR checks, I'm sure, are in place as we speak, but hopefully we we are back in action, obviously, with a fantastic strike there from Christopher Nkunku, albeit straight at the keeper, but hit with so much venom that the keeper really didn't have much chance. We're back underway. It's 3-1 Chelsea. Come on. That's what I want to see. I think that's what I'm saying. That knock was getting a little bit louder, but Gent start incredibly quickly from that. They're in our box. João Felix is there fighting for it. I do love the industry João Felix support on this second spell. But Chelsea, they are in here. Rejo off the bench. Deflection. I think it's a corner. Is that a Rejo who's just come on? I'm not sure. Good Johnson's gone off. And I think he's just come on. Vega just doesn't realise where his man's gone. Badashile actually did well to get out to that, I have to say. But yeah, a couple of times from going behind, Gent probably start a little bit quicker than Chelsea do off the restart. It's headed away by Nkunku from their corner. Nkunku straight onto that. What well done, Nkunku, flying out on the counter attack. It's not the ball we all wanted to see to Neto, is it? But Dewsbury Hall leads the press here for Chelsea. He can't get onto it. Dazassi can't get onto it either. And it's Gent's number 3 again, striding up the left-hand side. Played a poor ball there, though, and Badashile does more than enough to win that back for Chelsea. Again, the possibility of this game turns into a basketball game off of the restart, but Chelsea actually look to turn around and build up with a little bit more control, which is what we know Maresca wants to see in his teams. I've been telling people for weeks that Enzo Maresca doesn't want to see an out-of-control basketball match. He doesn't want to see that. He wants to see a controlled counter-attack and controlled attack through possession. So in that moment there where we've seen many times players like Madueke striding forwards, Pedro Neto follows instructions, decides to turn around and allow us to try and build up with control. This is what I've been saying. Although we look unbelievable in transition, I worry at times if that's something we're trying to remove from the team. Is that something that we saw that's a bad habit developed under Pochettino? But with the way we've been scoring goals at that intensity and flying through the pitch on numerous occasions this season, you would hope that hang on, Omarodian's in here for his actually good save, Anana. But you would hope that isn't something we're trying to remove from the team, because we look unbelievable in transition. And every time I hear Maresca speak, he does say that isn't what he wants. So unless it's just being lost in translation, I believe there is an effort to remove some of the uncontrollability and unpredictability from this Chelsea team. I just think there is a bit. Whether or not it's being done intentionally, I'm not sure. But yeah, at times I'm definitely hearing that is the case. Cassidy again does well. He's having an improved second half. I think Dewsbury Hall's probably fallen more into obscurity, though, as the ball's with Badashile now, who is finding himself out on the right-hand side of the fence. Maybe he's had a word and said, I'd rather play centrally and Tosin out on the left. I'm not sure. Bayern View, how we doing, my man? Madueke doesn't heavily contribute in the next match or two. Give Mudryk and Neto a chance at the Prem. Yeah, I think, if I'm being honest with you, I think Nkunku's probably knocking the loudest on the door right now to be getting a game somehow and somewhere in that team. Tosin's nutmeg there, but we win it back. Cassidy again, nice bit of link-up play. João Felix just can't do enough. He's swamped a little bit. 67 minutes on the clock. Chelsea lead 3-1. Yeah, Dewsbury Hall is definitely falling into obscurity. He's not trying passes with much risk, I have to be honest with you. And he's not really getting on the ball in areas that I'd want him to. Gent looking to cross the ball here. They do. Jorgensen safely collects. Can we look to counter-attack? No. He's going to hold the ball and let us build out for the back again, which is something we're starting to see more and more as the game goes on, actually, is the reluctancy to attack them when they're committed. We're just not seeing it as much as we have in other games or earlier on in the game. So that's obviously been addressed in the half-time meeting. But yeah, look, Dewsbury Hall, although he's pass accuracy is an interesting stat, and I have to say this because as much as pass accuracy is a good judgment at times, it can be a negative because it might suggest that a higher pass accuracy means the player's taking less risks. And I definitely say that is what we're seeing today with Dewsbury Hill. After a couple of times giving the ball away cheaply, when he's had the ball to actually maybe now try and do something with it, he's just been incredibly safe, and he's almost playing a bit of a crab role, to be honest with you. Um, I would I would back myself to be doing a little bit more of it than what Dewsbury Hall is right now. And Kunku hasn't played good as a winger. If Jackson keeps performing like this, then I can't see Nkunku starting. And Kunku's in again here. Dewsbury Hall as well. He's going to score. He's actually going to score, Dewsbury Hall. There's his input on the game, telling the fans it's all about this. We're 4-1 up. And Kunku does really well there. Couldn't quite get a shot off. And Dewsbury Hall comes in as the ball sort of falls into no man's land. He's there to put it underneath the diving keeper again. Yeah, look, honestly, it's a good it's a good what's up with the lights as we score? What is that? We are gonna get so much stick. Yeah, look, Felix plays a great ball through, and Kunku just can't quite get there actually, but he obviously makes the defender slide with a great run. And as the ball falls into no man's land, like I said, under pressure, Dewsbury Hall puts the ball straight at the keeper, and the keeper just absolutely doesn't do much with it. I've not seen enough from Mudryk again, says Bobby. Way more of a threat from Neto. I'm not sure if I agree. I feel like bar the goal, they've been there's not much to separate them. I think they both had pretty similar games actually. I don't think Mudryk's been that bad. The only thing I'll say is I don't know what this light thing is that's happening at the bridge, but that ain't that ain't how you celebrate a goal, mate. You don't get your phone out and start shining your torch. What is happening at Stamford Bridge, mate? Why are they doing that? That is awful. That is awful. That's so tacky. Not a music concert. Like, come on. Are they doing it as a joke? I just don't know. There's obviously some sort of instruction come from someone before the game to do that, but I think that looks shocking. It's gonna catch on, innit? It's like the new Poznan. Oh, I don't wanna just celebrate a goal by a bit of limbs going a bit nuts. Like, I can just see us getting stick for that. That's proper plastic flag brigade, that is. Did you know we might leave? Yeah, I've heard the talk. I'm not sure that we will. I don't think the pitch owners will have it. Chelsea as a football club, I don't think will leave Stamford Bridge. I think as much as a franchise of Blueco might, I don't think Chelsea by name will leave Stamford Bridge unless the pitch owners are given like an incredibly good offer that they can't afford to turn down as an organisation. I just don't see Chelsea leaving Stamford Bridge if I'm being completely honest with you. It's a cross here for Gent. Wow. Badashile goes for it. Jorgensen and Badashile quite clearly didn't communicate there. The ball all the way back from that free kick to against goalkeeper. It's 72 minutes of the clock. Chelsea 4-1 up. Are we looking for any changes? It's turning relatively comfortable for Chelsea off the back of that last goal, I would say. Even though Gent will be relentless and Chelsea's pursuit of a positive and a huge goal difference for this competition, I hope doesn't fade. Dewsbury Hall now looking alert and lively. That's what I want to see, Dewsbury Hall. Felix is 1-on-1 here with a great pass from Dewsbury Hall. Looks for the nutmeg. It's not quite on, but Dewsbury Hall turned on that one, played the ball straight through his legs. It's 4-1. It's relatively uh, easy for Dewsbury Hall in that situation to put the ball through his leg as well. It wasn't much of a challenge coming in. He plays a great pass through to Felix on the one-on-one. I think João Felix probably has to do better there. I really think he's got the quality to do more. It was just he was looking for the perfect little nutmeg, which he's obsessed with, and we know how good he is at that. But he could have worked that shot off with a little bit more ease, I think, and we could have had another. This is the sort of time where we're 70 minutes in, Neto has ran himself into the ground. I would probably be looking at the sub if I'm Maresca. I think I would. I would say Mudryk is probably okay. Don't think he's going to be playing at the weekend. Any players that might be playing at the weekend, I'd probably be looking to drag off here. Dazassi, so alert at the back post. The ball's fizzed across there from Gamba, who is one of the only Gent players I know his name. And Dazassi, well alert of what was coming in at the back post. The number three again providing a threat from that left hand side. And Dazassi more than alert to see that out for a corner. So Gent, 4-1 Chelsea lead. Gent are not letting up. I would have thought by now, being 4-1 down, that this would become an easier ride, but it doesn't right now, 74 minutes on the clock. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case. It really doesn't look like that. So we'll see. Yeah, Chelsea are flying. I have to be honest with you. 4 goals. It's all right, isn't it? I don't mind it. There's been moments, and I think the second half we've come out in the way we probably could have been a little bit more ruthless in the first half. But 4 goals is great. We are scoring a lot of goals. At the first, like first half, we got to this sort of period, 20 minutes in, and we were still at 1-0. We're looking like we could score every time we go forward at the moment. Neto here on the edge of the box. Dewsbury Hall again, flowing with a bit of confidence now. Shoots! Ooh, deflected. It's gone for a corner. Dewsbury always there's a little. Maybe this is a confidence player, guys. Maybe this is a confidence player. He's received the ball on the edge of the box there. He's had a shot. It hits his man. Dewsbury Hall looking a little bit more like the player I saw in pre-season, who I actually thought looked quite exciting. Stats support what I'm thinking about Mudryk. He has had 0 shots. He's had 20 passes, 70% accurate. He's taking risk. He is taking risks, though, I would say. Mudryk is definitely having crosses, Bobby. It's not all about stats. Mudryk has obviously got an assist today as well, as much as Neto has scored. Mudryk's got an assist as well. So he's taking risks. He's putting his crosses into dangerous areas, and centre backs are having to get in the way of him. I wouldn't say Mudryk's had a bad game today, if I'm being completely honest with you. I'm not sure it's enough to be starting in our main 11, but he's not had a bad game. It's an improved second half from Chelsea, I'd say. Casadei obviously started off as the player I was seeing a bit of improvement from between the two midfielders, but since the goal, Dewsbury Hall's come alive. So a negative in the first half is being turned into a positive again. Yes, our defending for that goal was really sloppy, but we cross it again. There's a goal here. Oh, I think we've missed. Dizassi's put himself into the net rather than the ball. Dizassi's put himself into the net rather than the ball. I don't agree. I think with the amount of game time Mudryk is getting right now, I think it's more than enough football. I think it is. If he's going to be playing in the Conference League, I think that's enough to be under the coaching of Maresca with the style that Chelsea are going to play. I'm not sure. I think this is enough of an opportunity for Madrid to prove himself, and we need the rotation options. We do need it. When you look at how we're going to play, and it looks like he's going to rotate 2 11s, I think there's definitely room in this team for Mudryk to force his way in as a sub off the bench in bigger games, and as a player that's going to start in these. There definitely is. I'm not sure so much right now. We'll see, obviously, if Chelsea go and sign someone else, or with the arrival of Esteval and Kendrick Pires at the end of the season, then I do believe this is Mudryk's last chance in the build-up to those players arriving. But I think there's more than enough football in front of him whilst we remain in competitions that we'll be able to get a better idea of what he might bring. But at the same time, I do wonder what his future looks like with the arrival of Esteval and Kendrick Pires. Madueke and Mark Gee must be on to score more goals. I'm not sure, but maybe there's a chance to give Mark Gue a run out. Maybe there's opportunity for a couple of the younger guys to come on, like maybe Tyreek George come on. I would be thinking about Neto. I would be thinking he's had a lot of injuries. We're probably going to win this one now. Let's bring him off. They'd be the ones I'd be worried about. Gent have made plenty of subs. Chelsea obviously haven't yet. Tosin under pressure here. Ball back to Badashile. Chelsea, I can tell you right now, they are wishing this game was a little bit more relaxed, but it isn't quite yet. Omarodian coming off to a standing ovation He's obviously had a great game for Porto as they are still 3-2 up against Ten Hag's woeful United. He may have scored a hat trick. I'm not sure. I think it was only two. We'll see. Dewsbury Hall receiving the ball under pressure again, as is Cassaday. They look to play the ball straight back to our defence. Cassaday again is definitely taking less touches under pressure. He's definitely understood what he has to do in this role in the second half. Dewsbury Hall still occupying an exactly same position as he was in the first half. He's not getting on the ball as much as I think he could, but he's looked a bit more lively. João Felix is caught there. That's another late challenge. This is what I mean when these sort of silly challenge. Yeah, look, substitutions. Mark Gu and Tyreek George, I believe, are going to be coming on. Yeah, I think it's the right thing to do. Neto and Nkunku are going to come off. They're probably the players that are more likely going to be in contention for appearing off the bench, I would say, against Forest if needs be. But look, round of applause. Great performance again, I think, from Nkunku and Neto, both getting on the score sheet and managing players who have had their fair share of injuries in recent years. Let's see what Mark Hughes about, and let's see. Mark can prove he's the talented young star. He's the next Costa. Well, let's see. I think there's definitely the industry there that Diego Costa had. I'm not sure there's quite the ability yet, but he's a young kid. Tyreek George the same. It's a great opportunity to show yourself on a competitive European stage, and we'll see what happens. He's he's definitely getting a lot of hype. Is Tyreek George coming through the Chelsea's famed academy? Cassaday again, still the lone player in that centre midfield. Dewsbury Hall's all the way out here on the right wing, pretty much. He's been so isolated tonight at times, Cassaday, with not a lot of options around him. It reminds me a little bit of how often we saw Casado isolated under Poch, and I think he's dealt with it. To be honest with you, I think he's had quite a tough challenge. I rarely, like I said, I rarely see that many players surrounding a player in the midfield like that, especially at such a young age like Castellet is. And I think he's dealt with it. I've been really impressed with that because that's really difficult to do. I'm not saying he's been a match winner in that position, but it's very easy to make mistakes there, as we've seen happen in previous seasons. Their number 3 is striding through our team again here, though. He's going to go into our box and work a shot. He does. It's just wide. I'm not sure if it's taken a nick on the way through. Jorgensen looked like he had it covered. I think it's going to be a goal kick, but he burns Dazassi, gets goal side of him, and just keeps striding away all the way through the pitch. Works his way into Chelsea's box, shifts it onto his left foot, and yeah, it's a Chelsea goal kick. But yeah, he's been they've been tough to play against, and he's definitely been one of the players that stood out for me. I still haven't quite caught his name. Tyreek George getting his first sniff of action. Yeah, welcome to the game. Here's a bit of pressure for you. They've been so good at that. Every time a Chelsea player's had a bit of space, they swarm them incredibly quickly. But Vega looking to play behind to Mark Gu here. And there's the box. He shoots. He's hit the side netting with his first action as well. So within the same phase of play, we see Tyreek George and Mark Gu introducing themselves to the game. Vega looks to play in behind there with such intensity. There's a great pass, cuts out 3 or 4 players with ease from Vega there. And Mark Guehi running onto that to work a shot. They've given the ball away. Not quite. I thought they'd given the ball away there again. But Chelsea's press is relentless, as it has been for the whole 80 minutes that we've seen. Cassidy brings the ball down, moves it on within 2 touches. I love what I'm seeing. Only seen Tyreek George play once against the Mexican team. He was stellar. Yeah, he played against Barrow the other day, actually. So, albeit a small cameo. Yeah, he's definitely a player that is working his way into the front. I think when you see a player like Tyreek George play at a very similar age to when we saw Hudson Odoi emerging, you do realise the level that that Hudson Odoi was at for such a young age. He was incredibly gifted, and injuries really did hamper that young man's career. But he's obviously we're playing him at the weekend. But yeah, when you see a player like Tyreek George, it's hard not to draw comparisons to a young winger coming through from Chelsea's academy. I don't think he's quite being talked about in the same breath as Callum. Callum was obviously spoken about as the best player that Cobham might have ever produced. And yeah, we'll see how that one goes for Tariq George. I'm hoping he gets a little bit more of the ball, although it's definitely starting to slow down a little bit as we enter like the 84th minute here. The bridge. Hassiday moves the ball out to Tariq George. Unfortunately, he can't quite get there. The number 3, he's playing for a move, mate. He looks unbelievable as he strides forwards again. He crosses. Here you go. This could be a goal. I don't know how Orejo has not got that on target. Brown is the left back. Okay, it's Brown. Brown is the left back. He's been unreal. He's playing for a move. Who is he? He's been really good, like pretty good. Uh, Archie Brown played for Reading. Played for Reading. Is he on loan? England and Jamaica left back. He is their most expensive player, and I actually am not surprised. No, he didn't play for. Why does it say Majeski Stadium? I just saw that. Oh, agent Majeski Sports. Sorry. Um, he played for Derby under 23, joined Laswane Sport, and then from there he got a move to Gent. Yeah, he's a good player, man. He's a unit of a left back, but yeah, he's had a good game. I have to be honest. Yeah, been impressed with him. Archie Brown, 22 years old. Okay, Badashine into Cassidy again. Chelsea still under an unforgiving press from Gent. Like they have been non-stop. They have not let Chelsea relax or have time to put their foot on the ball at all this game. It's maybe a small spell in the first half where I remember us not being able to do much and the defenders having a lot of the ball, but they have not stopped. Bobby, he's gotta be injured. Like, this does worry me. If anyone's got any news on Chukwuemeka, then drop it in the comments or, let me know on Twitter if it's after the game finishes and that. I would like to know. Cassidy again, probably for the first time in this half, taking too many touches, tried to turn to no avail. This is what I mean about the press is he has not been able to receive the ball and turn that often at all today. And because of that reason, he's having to be very mature and realize that you're just going to have to play a role here as a wall. And he is doing that. You know, it takes an incredibly good player to be able to play in that role and turn and make things happen. And I'm talking about a player on Rodri's level and Kovacic's level and Busquets' level, players like that are press resistance and they do it with ease. Cassidy obviously isn't quite there yet. And because of that, instead of risking losing the ball, he's just having to play very safe. And at times he's been able to turn and been really positive. But yeah, that's a challenge. That is. He's impressed me a lot. I know I've said about it a lot, but he's been in an incredibly difficult position today, and he's a player who I think's being tested more than anyone else on the pitch, really, because of the pressure that's on him. I think João Felix and Nkunku's of the world, they've got the quality to beat those players pressing them. You know, Tosin's played enough Premier League football. Vega obviously isn't under the amount of pressure that Cassidy is in that midfield area. He's had pretty much 3 players on him every time he's received the ball. And it's a very mature performance. Dewsbury Hall allows space to open up for Felix to get on the ball there. Felix is one of those players where I'm not quite sure if he has 90 minutes in his game. Tyreek George looks to throw a few step overs, play the ball back to Felix. Vega here again, working the ball from side to side. It's out to Mudryk on the left to take on Gamba. Can he work across or a shooting opportunity? Felix, I would say João Felix has got, it's a tired foul as well there. They're going to let it play on. Brown is out here on the left-hand side for Gent. I would say the answer about Carney lies with Igbali. Bobby, I'm worried you might be right. I am. That you can't tell me that the way João Felix looks now, like Carney couldn't have had 15 minutes in this game just to rest up João Felix. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I know it's not a lot, but 15 minutes is better than nothing. Gamble is going to come off, so no sign of him getting that red card we'd hoped at times after that horrific challenge in the first half. Yeah, a game that is slowly starting to fizzle out, to be honest with you, as we approach the 90th minute here. If I was looking to pick a man of the match, I'd probably yeah, I'd probably have to say uh maybe Pedro Neto, you know. Pedro Neto's not had a bad game. I think Nkunku had a good game. I wouldn't say it's been Dewsbury Hall. I wouldn't say it's been uh yeah, maybe Neto actually. I felt like he had a really good game, especially to get a goal as well. And Kunku had a good game, but at times wasn't involved nearly as much. Jao Felix he's kind of just dropped off a little bit the last 20 minutes. Jao Felix, he's still getting on the ball, but I think he's got tired legs. Mudryk wouldn't be man of the match for me. Yeah, maybe I'd give that to Neto. I have been, like, I know I've said it a few times, but I have been really impressed with Casadei. Dizassi's had a good game as well. I wish we kept the clean sheet, but we haven't, and they've just scored. Oh, just as I was talking about the defense. This is what's so frustrating because I know against better teams, it's gonna be an issue. It's 4-2. It's just we've switched off there. We've switched off. It's stupid goal to concede, and it hinders the goal difference. They play a ball all the way over the top, bypasses everyone on the left-hand side. Badiashile goes out to the guy. He puts the ball through Badashile's legs way too easy. Gazassi obviously is out there on the right from transition. He's had to get all the way back, and he just hasn't got the pace. And the guy's wide open because Badashile is not good enough. Yeah, the Badashile has let that ball come through his legs with ease. Pause. Oh, but Vega has been great with a goal and assist. Just yeah, Vega's not had a bad game, but I'm sorry, guys, I can't give man of the match to a defender. Is what the point I was getting to for not getting a clean sheet, but to let in two, and a real sort of lapse there. I can't give a defender man of the match off of that. I just can't. So I'd probably say I'd probably say Neto. I feel like that's a really two really cheap goals to concede. Tyreek George with some lovely footwork there. Plays the ball out to Vega. Vega out on the left-hand side, all the way out to Mudryk. Mudryk one-on-one here with the fresh legs of the number 18. He's going to work a shot, though. Mudryk, he does it soft. It just rolls past the post. It's not quite the type of finish that I've seen from Mudryk every time I watch him train. He actually scuffs it. It's almost like he's topped a golf ball there and it rolls off towards the byline. I really think if he'd have scored a goal there, that would have wrapped up a pretty good performance from Mudryk on the whole. 20 attempts for Chelsea, pretty much, with 4 goals scored. Yeah, it's a shame that we've conceded that goal there. I've got to be honest, because it's taken one pass over the top to a Badashine with a lack of defender. It's gone out to the same guy again here. Defenders are way more central this time. Cassaday's the man going out to the right hand side. They cut it back. It's the same guy on the ball. He's going to work a shot here. Edge of the box. They do shoot. It's a poor shot. But again, this shows 92 minutes on the clock now. Gent are not giving up. They really aren't. They've been relentless in terms of bringing their game to Chelsea when when they've had the opportunity to. That Chelsea have not been able to take their foot off the ball at all. And Manchester United may have been saved at the death. I think Harry Maguire's just scored. They're down to 10 men, but I think Maguire might have just saved 10 with a draw there. Um, yeah, I agree, Bobby, by the way. This is huge. I've always said this. You know how good Villa set up last night, obviously well against Bayern. Unai Emery, top coach, won plenty of European trophies. Arteta as well has definitely got Arsenal defending so well. That's why he's getting applauded. It's Pep at times. Obviously, a lot of the Italian managers are renowned for this as well. Juventus haven't conceded a goal until last night. Defense wins you the biggest trophies for sure. It does, and I think Arteta's realised that. Conceding 2 to Ghent in the sloppy fashion that we have, I don't know if it's a slight on Maresca, but it is a slight on the players here that are fighting for their position into the first 11. because quite simply, it's not good enough. The boat from the set piece and that counter attack, it's not good enough. Mark Guehi trying to work his way into a shooting opportunity there. Been incredibly quiet, Mark Guehi, since he had that one opportunity to hit the side net, and I've not really seen anything else. They're looking to build on the right again. 3 minutes 30 on the clock. It's 4-2, and they are not stopping Gent. They've given Chelsea a workout today. I can tell you that. When they've had the opportunity to counter attack, they've really tried. Chelsea have obviously tried their best. Tyreek George and Cassidy link up well. Dewsbury Hall to lead one more counter attack. Brown fouls Dewsbury Hall in the process. 94 minutes, pretty much on the clock. He picks up a booking. It's a bit of an unnecessary challenge to make. I hope Dewsbury Hall's gone down holding his ankle here. I hope we can see him get up because a slightly more positive end to the game for Dewsbury Hall. I wouldn't want to see him pick up an injury, to be completely honest with you. Added time done. 4 minutes of added time. Final whistle. Chelsea win 4-1 against 4-2. Sorry, 4-2 against Gent. It probably should have been 4-1, but yeah, it's an okay game. If I'm being honest with you, a good performance, but at the same time, there's some issues. There is some issues. Just seeing the players focused on at the end of the game. I think Neto probably gets my man of the match. I think he probably does. He's had a good game there. Dewsbury Hall obviously managed to get a goal, but I don't think he was as involved. Vega had a good game. Vega did have a good game. I have to say that. Unfortunately, they've conceded though, and I don't think I can quite give a defender a I would say yeah, another game full of goals for Chelsea, but with some things that we could definitely address and fix going into our game against Nottingham Forest. Definitely. Chelsea have drawn four. What are we on about? Sorry, not drawn. Chelsea have. Why is my? It's just paused. I was looking at Manchester United drawing literally as I was saying that, but it's just on Maresca. I will tell you right now, and I know this with the way Maresca's been. He's not going to be over the moon with the fact we've conceded 2 goals there. He's not going to be happy. He'll be annoyed. He will be annoyed. Man United was winning 2-0 and then now drawing. United 3-2 down. Can you show the rest of the game? Harry, there's nothing to show, mate. The game's finished, unfortunately. Uh, guys on TikTok, thank you for tuning in already. If you haven't, make sure to smash a like on the video on YouTube. We're looking for 30 likes on this stream. If we could get that, I think that would be absolutely unbelievable. We're on 21. Anyone tuning in afterwards, make sure to drop a like. If you haven't already subscribed, we're on the road to 3,000 subscribers before the end of or before Christmas, really. I think that would be unbelievable if we could achieve that number. Chelsea win again. 4-2. Another huge amount of goals for Chelsea. It's not like we're struggling to score goals. I do think Gent actually can be proud of that. Yeah, at times that we scored goals and we were better than them, but they've put in a performance for their fans to be proud of, you know. I think they have. I'm impressed. Like to not let up at all when you're 4-1 down is tough to keep working like that, and they did. So fair play, fair play. There's been a really late winner. Copenhagen have just lost 2-1 in like the dying minutes of a game there as well. I don't know who that was against, but I've seen the score notification come up. I do wonder if Harry Maguire might have saved Ten Hag's job on that one. What I'm going to do though, guys, I'm going to quickly go into a debrief on the game that we can put up on the channel as the recording. Right, bear with me 2 seconds. I'm just going to set it up because I want to get that video done as it's a late kickoff. Bear with me 2 secs. Yeah, I think Pedro Neto might have got man of the match. He might have. Just listening to what he said, really good performance. Dan says disappointed. We did not keep clean sheets. Happy we got a good win in this Conference League. We should splash money on a big defender. Good attacking performance, but bit meh defending and horrid Badashile performance. Yeah, I'll be honest. I think our defense has slightly let us down there. It is frustrating. It is a bit because I do think Chelsea could quite comfortably have navigated that a little bit easier. To be honest with you, we really didn't do too much to help ourselves in a couple of those defensive moments, which is a shame because I would have thought we could potentially keep a clean sheet there because they didn't provide too much threat going forward. And I feel like it's off the back of some silly moments, to be honest with you, some real sort of sloppy moments. But Chelsea have obviously won 4-2 against Gent, a game full of action, as it always seems to be with Chelsea this season. Again, scoring 4 goals at Stamford Bridge this time. So we're showing that we're able to score goals on the road and at home. I'll give credit to Gent right now. A fantastic performance for a team that found themselves 4-1 down at times. They were non-stop. They did not let Chelsea ease up at all. And I have to give them credit. We weren't sure what to expect from teams in this Conference League. And they've made it very tough for Chelsea tonight. But look, we've scored 4 goals. We've shown a lot of quality. Players that at the moment we know aren't getting a sniff in Chelsea's starting 11 in our biggest games in the Premier League. And they've shown quality. Pedro Neto scored a great goal tonight, and Kunku scored a fantastic shot straight at the keeper, albeit, but he put so much on it, the keeper had no chance. Mudryk got an assist tonight and had a really good game. And Kunku had a quieter game, but showed his quality. João Felix had a really good game today. Renato Vega managed to get himself on the score sheet. And I think on the whole, even Dewsbury Hall had a much improved second half that led to him scoring a goal. We can be pretty happy with that going forward. I do have question marks about us defensively. I think we've seen Gent not really pose too much of an attacking threat at times. Yeah, they had their moments. Johnson had a shot early on in the first half, and Brown provided a threat down the left-hand side for them. But they really didn't do enough for me to warrant scoring 2 goals. And for most part, defensively, we were able to keep them at bay. But on a couple of moments, Chelsea were really sloppy. Badashile springs to mind for me on the second goal. A couple of moments in the first half, it was poor from him as well. Lackluster defending and sloppy passing led to some chances for them. But actually, when you look at defensively, how easily he's let a player go put the ball past him on the second goal, it's not good enough. There was moments off of the set pieces where we really didn't react quick enough to the second phase of that, and we ended up conceding from that as well to a header. And it was just a little bit sloppy. And I do worry against better teams where we aren't able to score as many goals. That those sort of blips might be a bit of an issue, but I don't want to dwell on the negatives too much. I think they're quite easily worked on and improved and avoided. I'm not sure if anyone tonight from this sort of second string 11 has done enough to break themselves into the starting 11. But I have to say, if Madueke stays quiet and doesn't bring the level of goal scoring that we saw a little bit earlier on in the start of the season back into his game sooner rather than later, I think Neto is knocking on the door. I think Mudryk's put in a good performance tonight. I don't think he's quite at the level yet where he probably deserves to be starting over a couple of those players. Definitely not over Sancho. I think uh, João Felix probably hasn't quite done enough yet, but I would say I think Nkunku has. I think he's showing every time he plays that he's capable of scoring goals. I'm not suggesting for any minute that Jackson would be dropped, by the way, but I do wonder if there's a way to get Nkunku in the same team as Cole Palmer and Jackson, because I then feel that there is a fantastic amount of goals in that attacking four potentially you could see with Sancho and Nkunku, Palmer and Jackson. I think that would be absolutely magnificent to see. On paper, it looks fantastic, but sometimes these things don't always work. The squad are definitely playing for places. Like, you're seeing it, and this is what we stressed so much last season, that it's really important for players to have competition so that the overall level of performance is upped. And we're seeing that because if players make a mistake or they don't perform in a game, and then the next game in a couple of days' time, someone's scoring, like Jackson didn't score at the weekend, and then Kunku did. So Jackson's thinking, he scored again. Like he is not letting me ease up. Or if a player has a quiet game out on the wing, like Madueke had, and then Neto's having a really positive game and he scores, Madueke's thinking, hang on a minute, they've just bought this guy in for 60 million and he's still scoring and he's being in game after game, he's looking better and better. I need to I need to up my level. And we're seeing that now and we're reaping the rewards. And this is a really good test because we didn't know what to expect in the Conference League. And I think before we started, a lot of us were saying, oh, 3-0, we'll take a 3-0. It just shows that if you switch off for any minute, some of these teams are going to be good enough to cause a bit of a problem. And we saw that with Gent tonight, that when we did switch off, they scored straight away. And for me, that's what I've been saying about European football is nothing's written. Chelsea aren't just given a place in the final to go and win this competition. They didn't let us slow the game down much at all. And that's what's going to be really important to remember going forwards is that these teams aren't here just to take parts. For some of them, they believe they can get far and sort of change the landscape of their clubs by having a really good European run or change the shape of their careers. We've seen Archie Brown tonight have a really good game for Gent, a guy that's played under 23 English football for Derby, take a couple of moves out into Europe and then finally get his chance to probably showcase himself to some of the better clubs in English football lower down the pyramid. They'll be looking at a really promising 22-year-old left back there because I think he's had a really good game, albeit Pedro Neto managed to score. There was a real good test going on there. And what I'm trying to say is, yeah, it's not going to be easy for these teams, for Chelsea and the 11 that's put out to navigate these games, expecting clean sheets, expecting a walk in the park. We've seen tonight it's not going to be that in the Conference League. So we're going to have to be switched on. But I think we're capable of doing that. And I think that will only help this team going forwards because this is the type of games I was talking about last season that I wanted this Chelsea team to be playing because learning how to navigate games like 3 days in, 3 days, 3 days, 3 days, 3 days, Thursday, Sunday is good for the manager, good for the coaching staff. It's good, obviously, for the fans because it means more football, but it's also good for the group of players to understand how relentless playing European football can be. It can be a real challenge. And yeah, we do have some really difficult away days. Obviously, that one out to Astana is going to be a massive trek. But yeah, a positive performance on the whole. Some real, like, I want to touch on Cassidy. I was saying this on the watch along. I've never seen too many players surround that area of the pitch. Cassidy found himself isolated and at times was surrounded by 5 Gent players and found it incredibly difficult to be able to do much on the ball because of the press that was coming in from them. And they sat in this mid block and made it incredibly difficult for Chelsea to play through them. Cassidy put in a really mature performance today. It would have been easy for him to keep trying to turn and play into their press and give the ball away. And he really had to restrict his game at times. And to do that takes a real mature head on a young body. And yeah, he did do that. And I have to praise him because I've seen players shrivel in that situation and give the ball away and make mistakes. We saw Badashile do it at times when he was pressured tonight. And Cassidy didn't really do that. And I have to praise him. I have to praise Dewsbury Hall. We sort of said, look, he's not had the greatest first half. He could probably get himself on the ball a little bit more. He did that in the second half, albeit not a lot in the areas that I'm expecting him to see get on the ball. But maybe Maresca doesn't want that. Maybe Maresca wants there to be an isolated central midfielder that we saw Cassidy in that 6 role tonight. But Dewsbury Hall got himself on the score sheet. And I feel like maybe he's a confidence player because he looked a little bit better after that. I feel like Vega is an unbelievable signing. Considering none of us really knew much about him at all, he is is incredibly good for a player that was relatively unheard of. He can play a number of different roles. He's shown that he can get on the score sheet and attack the box when he's being asked to play in that sort of inverted role and been given a bit of a license to step forward. Yeah, have to say I'm really happy with what I've seen on the whole from a lot of the players tonight, and I feel like we really do have a real high level in this squad at the moment. And I just feel with a couple of mistakes and a bit of work on the training pitch, we can sort these out. And the level of the squad is at a level where I'd feel pretty confident, even if some of these guys had to play in our Premier League fixtures and our tougher games. And I'd know what to expect from the majority of the squad. There are some players, yes, I think are a little bit far off it, and I'm sure they won't be at the club for much longer if they perform in that way. But on the whole, this group of players as a squad it's really promising right now, guys. Another 4 goals for Chelsea going into that Forest game. Hopefully we can score a load more. I think that's going to be a real tough game. I think they might sit in that low block, and that's the challenge I'm really looking forward to seeing. Obviously, players from that Premier League team are getting a bit of a rest during the week, but they were all there tonight watching, which I think is great to see Maresca doing, is getting everyone involved. The squad as a whole are building camaraderie and becoming a team, which we didn't really see enough last season. So yeah, hopefully we can take all this positive form into that game against Forest, albeit a different 11 totally, and get a win. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 3,000 subscribers. Drop a like on the video, and I will catch you in the next one. Guys, thanks for that. I just wanted to... I don't really know how many of you are still here, but that was my roundup. I'll upload that on the channel as well. But I just wanted to get that done. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Ibrahim, how are you? Good evening. That was probably one of our harder games. Yeah, I think you're right. For the rest of the team names, I don't know who they are. Vega better than Calafiori. I'm saying it. I'm not sure, Gerald. Calafiori's looked pretty good. Lil, that was just the end of the video. If you want to drop out, not a problem. But appreciate all of you guys coming in for that one. Look, watch-alongs are tough. They go on for a long time. And having you guys here sitting through it and chatting about the game is great. I love sharing our what we're seeing on the pitch happening and talking about it whilst it's there in front of us and discussing the game. It's really good, guys. We're building a fantastic community here. I have to say, every time I go live, I'm chatting to more and more of you, seeing more and more new names and returning people. And it's great. It really is. A lot of you guys get to bounce ideas off each other in the chat as well. So keep it up. Keep smashing the like. Put us in the algorithm and start showing us to the world. And I'm sure this community will grow. 3,000 by Christmas will be absolutely unbelievable if we can make that happen. So look, an absolute pleasure, guys. Chelsea win again, 3 points in Europe. I will catch you at the weekend and in a build-up towards the Nottingham Forest. And if you haven't already, smash a like. And when I upload that video, if you go and do the same, it'd be much appreciated. But I'll see you all in a bit. Pleasure, guys. Have a good evening and thanks for tuning in.